Muted. I was muted. We don't want to be muted. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. We are live. And we are live, and it is Manchester United against Burnley. We're back again. We're back again for Manchester United against Burnley in the Premier League. Team news is going to be coming in very, very soon. But we have got a lot to discuss because there has been some major updates in relation to the British media talking about Bruno Fernandez. I was only thinking today, actually, how it's gone quite quiet with regards to Bruno Fernandez. Lots of stuff from Portugal, but very quiet around the English media. And as Flex says tonight, there's no room for slip-ups tonight when it comes to Manchester United. They've got to win tonight. We'll be talking about that as soon as the team news comes in. But Simon Stone and Simon Peach, both for me, tier 1 journalists. And in my opinion, both are also people that would be getting information from Manchester United Football Club. And both tonight tweeting at the same time about Manchester United and about Bruno Fernandez and about the fact that, well, Simon Stone said at the moment it's hard to see how this deal gets done because effectively somebody's got to concede. Either Sporting Lisbon have got to lower their price or United have got to up their price. We won 2-0 against United and 2-2 against Chelsea, says Lucas Torreira, the GOAT. We've got an Arsenal fan in there. So that's what needs to happen there. Simon Peach saying a similar thing. You know, the deal they're dealing with the Sporting Lisbon team where the fans aren't happy, where potentially a player wants to go, where they're at, you know, that they're a long way behind their nearest rivals. It sounds a lot like United, doesn't it? You know, fans are unhappy. Players want to go long way behind our rivals, so it just sounds very, very similar to me. But ultimately, I've heard it from so many people, and I'm sure you have as well. The reason this deal has stalled is because Sporting Lisbon wants 60 million euros, which is about 50 million pounds, and Manchester United only want to pay 50 million euros, which is about 40 million pounds. Tell me who's wrong. Like João Felix went to Atletico Madrid for 100 million in the summer from the same league, and he had a similar season in a better team. The only difference is age. So, you know, being 5 years younger means he's worth 50 million pounds more. I don't think so. I think 60 million pounds is a fair price, and I think United are trying to flex their muscles like a big club, which I don't think we are anymore. I don't think that we are that big club. So I just feel like Manchester United need to pay the price, or they're gonna look really stupid. It's going to be interesting tonight because there's a lot of rumours floating around Manchester United at the moment about the incompetence of Ed Woodward, about Pochettino being lined up. But here we are again, having the opportunity to win a game against a team I can't see how we don't win this game. Famous lad's words. I mean, basically they're a 2020 Stoke. We win this and we're 3 points off top 4, and then Leicester, us and Spurs are Chelsea's next 3 games. So the opportunity to be above them by the end of February is there yet again for Manchester United. Greenwood benched again while Phil Jones is starting. Solskjaer out, says Andreas. I haven't actually seen the team yet, but I presume we will see it very, very quickly. Let's have a quick look, see if it's up yet. I haven't quite got it yet. I go off Twitter, but I'll take your word for it, mate, and I'm ready to change. Any deal United are involved is complex, as Cristiano. And Mark, why you got the team on there twice with multiple Martials and Dan James? What a prat. But I guess multiple Martials and James would be a big help. What? Oh yeah, I have got something on there twice and I don't even know what's going on there. We'll have to figure that one out. There we go. Thanks for that. I would have kept it up. That's what she said. Right, let's have a look. Manchester United team news. Team news. Da-da-da-da-da. Come on. Come on, United. It should be up by now. Well, it's not quarter past yet. So we are still waiting for the official team news. There are a couple of leaks out there that Greenwood's going to be on the bench and Phil Jones will start. But I would hope that Eric Bailly starts as Peter2234. Tahith Chung is about to leave. And I'm all right, Ethan Bailey. I hope you are. Please do smash a like on the video if you are watching. And why is Greenwood not starting? Says Danish Joyce. Yeah, he's got a weird thing, isn't he, Ollie? I mean, what is it he said? Oh, I sound like that one off Gavin and Stacey. Ollie said in the summer, I don't need Lukaku and Sanchez because Gomez, Chong and Greenwood are ready. And yet 2 of them are about to leave and one of them can't start when Marcus Rashford is out. But the team news is right. No Greenwood and Phil Jones is starting. It's the pink boots. It's the pink boots. Luke Shaw is on the bench as well. Matt Williams is starting at left back. So the team is De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Jones, Williams, Matic, Fred, Andreas Pereira, Mata, James and Martial. So actually, I got the team right. I got the team right apart from one player. I didn't want to get it right. I was just predicting it earlier. And I thought, you know what he's going to do? He's going to pick Mata on the wing and he's going to put... He's going to put Greenwood on the bench. I just felt that he would do that, even though Greenwood didn't start at the weekend. So, you know, not surprised by that, to be honest with you. Let me just change the team news for you good people at home. I've actually called the image bum, because it's a bit of a bum team, isn't it, I suppose. Phil Jones in it. But let's have a look. Okay. People are saying we've lost. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win. I'm not going to say that. But that is the team then. That is the official team. You've got it up on your screen because it's the official team. Still don't... Sorry, I want to read that comment. I quite like that. Still don't understand how some of you guys back this clown. Ollie, says King Jar. Okay. And we as a fan base need to back Ollie and shout Glazers out. You guys can protest by not going to the stadium for matches. At least Ollie is more consistent in his approach as compared to Jose Moyes and Van Gaal, says Ash. I don't think you could have encapsulated a comment that's going to half please people and half piss them off. Like, yeah, I think I agree with you what you're saying about the Glazers, but I don't think many people are going to agree with you with Ollie. Just let me tell you the bench, everybody. The bench for Manchester United tonight. So the team, as you can see on my left, is De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Phil Jones. It's Phil Jones. How is Phil Jones starting when Eric Bailly's on the bench, by the way? Maguire and Williams, Matic, Fred as the holding 2 midfielders. Andres Pereira, I would think, will play on the right with Mata at number 10 and James on the left with Martial up front. I mean, it's not a team that strikes fear into me if I'm Burnley, but I still think it'll win. Romero on the bench, Bailly, Dalot, Shaw, Gomez, Lingard and Greenwood. So Gomez on the bench is quite interesting. Does that mean there's a potential for him to stay? I mean, the bench doesn't look awful. I mean, Luke Shaw on the bench, Dalot. I mean, Luke Shaw's a bit unlucky to be on the bench, really. I thought he played really well at the weekend, but maybe he just needs a rest. Dalot back on the bench gives us a bit of depth. I'd rather Dalot than Ashley Young, who's gone, obviously. Eric Bailly, good to see him back. Gomez on the bench, happy about that. Greenwood, good player as well. I mean, Jesse Lingard, at least he's not starting, I suppose. That's what I would say about that. But, yeah, I'm a little bit... How does... Jones and Eric Bailly on the bench. It doesn't make any sense to me. And again, I would agree. And why is Greenwood not starting? But, you know, we're meant to be about the youth, aren't we? And yeah, I know Brandon Williams is starting and you've got to applaud that. But you've also got to say that, I don't know. It's not an inspiring team, is it? And then the best of it all is if we win tonight, we're 3 points behind Chelsea. And if we get top 4, we basically get £50 million more than we'll get from being in the Europa League. And we could have had Bruno Fernandez playing tonight. But we're still pissing about over £5 million. Marish Garzard says, do you think that United's coaching staff will do enough to keep Fernandez playing at the level he is playing at Sporting? Calamity Jones is back. Yes, says Maurice. And Josh Sutton found out today that Ollie was part of the players group protesting the Glazers takeover. Now he works for them. Ironic how hyperbolic life can be. Well, yeah, he was part of it. And he, that I know that. I think a lot of United fans know that. If you look back to an article around 2006, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was very opposed to the Glazers. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come out with some interesting comments, which we'll talk about in a minute. But let me just give you the Burnley team news. I mean, they are basically... Burnley are basically Stoke 2020. I watched them at the weekend, but you don't need to watch Burnley. They're physical, they're slow, they're set piece, they're long ball. They're a bit of a shithouse team, really. That's what they do. But their team today is Pope in goal, Loughton, Tarkowski, Mee and Taylor as their back four, Hendrick on the right, Cork and Westwood as the midfield, McNeil on the left. I like McNeil. I do like McNeil for Burnley. I thought he played very well against us in the first half at Turf Moor. I think he's a good player. They're grafters, and then they've got Wood and Rodriguez up front. So, yeah, Brady and Lennon off the bench. I mean, Aaron Lennon's had better days, but they'll graft against us, but I just don't think they've got any quality to cause us a problem. And I think tonight, of all nights, it's got to be Anthony Martial's night. He's got to step up. Ashu says he's got a very thin squad to experiment. Mourinho would never have used Gomez, Chong and these guys. We wanted Chong to play, but maybe his head isn't in place. Just like Pogba, he was young and agent driven, says Ashu. And Martial, please save us, says Jeet Chowdhury. I think it is a big shame that Bruno Fernandez isn't playing tonight, by the way, because I think he would have, in a game like this, he would be key. And I think what we are reliant on tonight is people like Juan Mata, Anthony Martial. Maybe Andreas Pereira can have... what I would say about Andreas Pereira is if he has a good game tonight, it doesn't excuse the fact that he was useless against Liverpool, but maybe he can just get us something tonight, produce something. He's not good enough. He's not, and I think we need to open our eyes to the fact that we went to Liverpool and got embarrassed, and just because you turn up against Burnley at home doesn't mean you've got a future career here. I mean, he was awful at the weekend. He should not be part of the future plans of Manchester United, but hopefully he can get us something tonight. Maybe Mata can roll back the clock a little bit. I think Matic suits a game like this. It's a grafting game. Maguire, again, physicality will be important. Phil Jones, I don't know that Phil Jones will have a bad game tonight because they haven't got a very fast front two, so it might suit Jones today just to be a bit, physical. I think defensively we'll keep a clean sheet, to be honest. Jordan Such says, Mark, do you still see this Bruno deal happening? For it to happen, Sporting are going to have to reduce the price because I don't see us paying another £5 to £10 million. Well, look, I can talk about Bruno Fernandez with you for a moment, of course. Please do smash a like on the video and make sure you subscribe if you're new. We're going to try and get it up to 637,000 tonight. But what I was going to say is this. I already said it at the start of the video before the team news came out. So Simon Stone, Simon Peach, Manchester Evening News, all sort of talking about the same thing over the last few hours, that Manchester United are not close to a deal for Bruno Fernandez, that basically Sporting Lisbon are going to have to lower their price, or Manchester United are going to have to increase their price. I think Simon Stone and Simon Peach get information from Manchester United. I'm 90% sure that they do. And I think Manchester United have leaked that out tonight to put pressure on Sporting Lisbon. They're basically trying the big bully club tactic of saying, if you don't reduce your price, we're going to walk away. This is a ridiculous tactic to do when every United fan and every fan in England and every fan in the world knows that Manchester United cannot be a big club bullying Sporting Lisbon. And if it works, well done. But if I was Sporting Lisbon, I'd be like, all right then. All right, we'll wait 4 months and we'll sell him for 60 million in the summer. Because there are George Mendes said today that there are clubs waiting to sign Bruno Fernandes in the summer. He will go in the summer. Apparently, it's something to do with financial fair play years, that the clubs that want him can't commit the money now, but have said to Sporting, we'll take him in the summer. So why should Sporting Lisbon lower the price? But I think United are just, as a last-ditch effort, rather than pay 5 million, are saying, we are putting it out into the press that we're going to walk away if you don't lower your price. But they shouldn't lower their price, because Manchester United are only offering 50 million euros, which is just over 40 million quid. And Sporting want 60, and they're right. And apparently some of the add-ons we're offering are ridiculous. Win the Grand National, win the Snooker World Cup. It's all stupid stuff. So United have messed this deal up. They have messed it up. And to be honest with you, if it doesn't happen now, I wouldn't be surprised. But to be honest with you, I still expect it to happen, I've got to say. But it's been an absolute joke how it's been run. We won't sign anyone. That's my gut feeling, says Ashu, and Ollie may be sacked because of that. Style of play develops a lot of fatigue and Poch might come. We always go for the wrong head in such situations, always the coach and not the owners. Welcome to Maurice Gazard, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Remember, you can do that by clicking the join button. You get a little badge next to your name that changes every month that you are a member, and that's in the live chat. Philip Burtonwood says, did you see Mendes' comments about Bruno? Mark, what do you make of that? I think I've just spoken about that, haven't I? He will go in the summer if he doesn't go now. Not to Manchester United. He's saying he will leave in the summer. And Shanku Nazim says, I think Bailly should be starting, but I can see why Ollie isn't playing him. Just ease him back, but wrong decision in my opinion. Oh, what? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer suddenly decided to ease injured players back. I wish he'd done that with Rashford, mate. I really, really do. Just a little bit of a shout out as well. You're going to get a bit of exclusive information here. We are having our first meetup of 2020 in March. 24th of March, I think it is. It's a Thursday in Dublin. I have the venue more or less on lockdown. So it will be a free event as well. So we'll be sorting that out very, very soon. But looking forward to that. March 24th, Dublin. Can't wait. If we get beat tonight, we will sign Bruno before the weekend, says Dave Lindop. To be honest with you, I think Bruno Fernandez will be signed next week. My theory now is that United are waiting to the end of the transfer window to sign it, so there's no pressure to sign another player. That's what I feel about it. Because did you see the news today that Manchester United have sent a scout to watch Moussa Dembele last night, and straight after the game he said, I'm not moving in January. It is what it is, as they say. Shout out from Mauritius, please, says Zayan Aiden. And DJ John T, thank you for the little dancing emoji there. Are you afraid Sean Dykes will activate Barcelona made like he does in FIFA, says Nazir. I'm terrible at playing Burnley on FIFA. They're my dodgiest team. I ain't scared of Sean Dykes. He sounds like he's trying to shit a big walnut out of a pinhole. That's what he sounds like. Mark, did you see Raiola and Sky? He is dead right, says Brian Murphy. I think he just spoke about the lack of ambition of Manchester United, which, to be honest with you, he is quite right. Fox LFC says, what's your score prediction tonight? What's your score predictions, everybody? My score prediction is, I'm going to go 2-0 to Manchester United. That's what I'm going to go with, 2-0 to Manchester United. Just some things I wanted to talk to you about, though. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I haven't read this article. It was quoted, so if it's wrong, I apologise, but actually I'm going to be quite positive towards Ollie here. Erling Haaland, apparently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said that they turned Haaland down, not the other way, and they turned him down because the power should be with the club and not the agent, and they didn't like the idea of there being a release clause. Now, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, because if we'd bought Erling Haaland for 17 million like Dortmund did, but then there's a 50 million release clause in there, then, you know, he comes to Manchester United, he plays really well, and then you have to sell him for 50 million to somebody like, I don't know, whoever offers 50 million. It's unstable, isn't it? It is unstable. But then again, I look at it and say, so I agree with Ollie what he's saying, but actually, can beggars be choosers? And if we bought Erling Haaland in January, we might have got top 4 Champions League, and that would have made us 50 million. So morals in football at the moment on what you're going to pay, well done, pat on the back. But morals don't get you Haaland. Morals get you Jesse Lingard as an emergency striker. So also, are you better off with Erling Haaland for 2 years than not? And he goes on to somewhere else. I just think we're still acting like a big club. I think that's the problem. And I get it. I get why Solskjaer would say the club should have the power, the release clause shouldn't be in there, we weren't happy with that. I get that. But are we doing what I just said before with Sporting Lisbon? Are we still labouring under this false thing that we're a big club? We're not a big club. We've not fought for a title for 7 years. So, saying we're not going to sign Erling Haaland because we don't want a release clause because he could leave us in a couple of years. Well, if you look at the last few years, he probably would want to leave us in 2 years anyway. So I just think beggars can't be choosers, and I think if we'd brought him in, it probably would have saved Ollie's job. But for him to sit there and go, no, I don't know. It's one of those. I think he's sort of right, but in another way, I think, beggars can't be choosers. We should have done the deal. Josh Bowerter, welcome, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. And also, Ashu says, there is no sub to Rashford, but we have 4 defenders. Even Klopp had a lot of injuries, but it pays off. We have more deadwood removed in his team than any other manager. Okay, Ashu is very positive about Solskjaer. Also, talking about the injury to Marcus Rashford has tweeted out today that he's going to be back before the end of the season, which I think is great. But I actually quote tweeted him and said, that's great to hear. But to be honest with you, we want you back for the next 10 years, not the next 10 weeks. And I don't want him rushing himself back with that injury. I really would rather he didn't play football again till August and had 8 months off, because I think he's been run into the ground, and I would rather have a fully fit Marcus Rashford. But I bet he will be back before the end of the season because he'll want to play in the Euros. But this could be the cycle of Rashford. If he doesn't start resting his body, he's going to pay the price in his career. So I hope he is back before the end of the season and he's fully fit. But I fear, because that's what Rashford's like, and it is commendable, but the people around him need to sort of stop him, really. Whether it's his agents, whether it's the club, they need to rein it in a little bit. But very foggy at Old Trafford tonight. I'm just looking at the pictures there. Very, very foggy. Maybe we need to keep losing to start a revolution against the Tories. Against the Glazers, says Red Baron. And Adamar and Nicola says, I think Ollie knows that he's going to get the sack, and at this point he's just freestyling because he doesn't deserve to be in charge if he's not putting pressure on the board to make deals happen. I don't know whether to tell you that what I'm about to. Ashu says, we are not a big club. I hope we don't turn into AC Milan or mid-table Arsenal, which we would be in 3 years' time. Ollie, and my birthday is the same. Ollie, also, this is something about Solskjaer that did annoy me last night that I haven't had a chance to talk about. Dylan O'Connor says, Mark, did you see that Manchester Evening News said that Ollie has told the squad he's planning to bring in a new midfielder and a striker before next Friday? Dylan, from what I know, I'll be stunned. I'd be stunned if we do that. How are we going to bring a striker in when we haven't even finished negotiations with Bruno Fernandez and we've been doing it for over 2 weeks? So we're going to get a striker out of nowhere in a week. It'll be a loan deal. If we get a striker, it's going to be a loan deal. It won't be a signing. So I don't believe that's going to happen. I hope it does. Phoenix of Ashes, welcome, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Very interestingly, like we talk, we do the press conference reaction on this channel. So as soon as Ollie's press conference has been done, we go live and discuss what's been spoken. So, many people who watch those shows will know, because we discuss what he's spoken about, what Ollie said over the last few months. And what he said a few weeks after the transfer window closed in the summer is that the money was there, but the right player wasn't. What he said in the last press conference was very different, and some people didn't pick up on this. He said, I've told you many times, the right player at the right price wasn't available. That is a totally different statement, and some people didn't pick on it, because what he's always said is, the money's there if the right player's there. What he's now saying is, the right player at the right price wasn't available in the summer. That's very different, because right player, money's there if the right player's there, means you've got money. Right player at the right price means you haven't got money. So I'll expand this expansion. So why I always believed, because Ollie said it, in the summer we didn't buy a striker because the right player wasn't available, and we didn't buy a midfielder because the right player wasn't available, but the money was there. So the way he was selling it, well, we had 200 million, but I couldn't get the right striker or the right midfielder, which always sounded like a load of nonsense. But now we get the truth. Because in his last press conference he said, I've told you many times, it's the right player at the right price, which is a totally different thing, because right player at the right price might be he only had 20 million to spend and he couldn't find the right player at that. And there is the truth. We've been on about this for bloody ages. He's been covering for the bloody Glazers. He's been saying for weeks, the money's there, but it's about the right player. And now he's let it slip. He's told the bloody truth. It's the right player at the right price, which means he's only got so much money. So I believe he didn't get a striker and he didn't get a midfielder in the summer because he only had a certain amount of money and it wasn't enough to get the right player that he wanted. That's the truth, not this mystic, the money's there but the right player wasn't, where we all go, well, there's loads of bloody players you can get with money. I think he's absolutely let it out the bag. I'm not surprised and I'm not shocked. I just wish he'd done it earlier, because right player at the right price means you're playing with a very small budget. That's what it means. Anyway, look, we are about... still quite a way till kickoff, actually, isn't it? 8:15 kickoff. I don't know what that's all about. What's all that about, 8:15 kickoff? Andrew Ellis says, no value in the market like when Ferguson was in charge. Yeah, it's just a different play. It's just, you're absolutely spot on. You're absolutely spot on, Andrew. And I hope you're doing well, actually. I haven't seen you in the comments for a while. But you're absolutely spot on. Right player at the right price means there's no value in the market. It's the same thing. It's just an evolution. It's like Burnley are a 2020 Stoke. And Ollie saying right player at the right price is just a 2020 there's no value in the market, which we used to get from Sir Alex Ferguson, which is just all about protecting the Glazers. Jude Bellingham, Charles Hobbs. I spoke about Jude Bellingham a couple of times on the Transfer Daily. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got fan cams, match reaction. We're live for every game. Previews, transfer news, loads of stuff to get involved with. So do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner and get involved. Jude Bellingham, it's in the press that we're being quoted as paying up to £30 million. A lot of that will be based on add-ons. We're not going to pay £30 million. It'll be £5 million plus £25 million in add-ons, where he's basically got to solve world peace, conquer the moon, and find life on Mars and win the Grand National. It'll be something like that. And then Birmingham get 30 million. So it'll be something stupid like that. And you don't get the payment until the year 3000. So that's what it'll be. It won't be 30 million outright. But I do hope that we do sign Jude Bellingham. I've got to be honest with you. I hope we do, because I don't live too far away from Birmingham, so I know a few Blues fans, and they speak very highly of him. But even if they don't speak very highly of him, he's played over 30 games in the Championship. He's played only over 30 games for Birmingham City this year, and he's 16. Championship is an absolute shithouse of a league. This is where we wanted Gomez and Chong to go, because you grow up in that league, and he's playing in centre midfield at 16 years of age. I mean, what's he going to be at 19? So, yeah, we should be all over that deal. And it's not going to help us out now. Having said that, he could probably still play in our midfield now and be better than what we've got. But he would be, by now, loaned back, definitely. 4 of our back line are English. 4 out of 5 of our back line are English. We just want English, says Matteo Vidal. Remember when we used to be quite proud of that? Pradesh Calder is the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Welcome, pal. And Red Barron says, isn't it a bit strange that Jamie Carragher holds Manchester United in higher esteem than Roy Keane and other United legends by basically saying Woodward and the Glazers are a joke? But you know what? There are a lot of Liverpool fans out there who, because they're so good now and because they're so comfortable now, they're actually looking at it and going, this is too easy. You know, what would make this better? I know what would make this better, going up against a really good Manchester United side. I remember this with United a couple of seasons. It was almost too easy. I mean, we hold the record for winning the Premier League officially the quickest. I think it's April the 14th. Liverpool are going to beat that. They'll probably do it in March. But you do sometimes win the league and you're like, oh, God, I wish it was a little bit more competitive. You know, I remember when we were up against, like, Arsenal in the late 90s, and they were the best titles because you fought for it right to the end. So I think Liverpool fans, whilst they probably quite enjoy us being rubbish, they also like the fact they would like to be playing a decent United time that tests them. And that's what happens when you've got a team that you believe is one of the best ever. You want to play decent teams. You don't want to have it easy. I remember in '99, I was quite happy that Arsenal team was brilliant because they pushed us in the FA Cup, they pushed us in the league. They couldn't push us in the Champions League because I don't think they were in it. But yeah, and you wanted to beat Barcelona and Bayern Munich and Inter Milan and Juventus because you wanted to be the best and you wanted to play the best. So yeah, I get why some Liverpool fans want us to do well, get better. Jones is in 2020. What more can I say? Says Ben23R. I think Phil Jones will be all right tonight. You know what? It's always a bit of a worry when he plays, but obviously Victor Lindelof has not recovered from his illness. But I think Phil Jones will be okay tonight because they haven't got enough pace to hurt us. That's the case with what's the name? Burnley. They just haven't got the pace to hurt us. So hello everybody. That's me on Instagram. I'm just going to do what I normally do on Insta. I quite like doing this. It's good fun, so I like to do it. It's all about fun on here. Okay, let's do it. This is on the United Stand Insta. Hello, I'm on the United Stand Instagram. I'm actually live right now with a load of people on YouTube. United Stand YouTube. Come and join us. We're watching, we're not watching, we're having a match chat. Manchester United versus Burnley. And come and join us on YouTube, the United Stand. Hello, I'm on the United Stand. Right, there's a reason I did that. And the reason is this. You should be following us on Instagram. Check it out, link in the video description, because what Flex does on a match day, he's at every game and he films the players coming out, he films after the goals, he films the crowd, he films the atmosphere. So if you don't get to Old Trafford much, or you've never been, or you just want to feel part of it, follow us on Instagram at the United Stand TV, or go to the link in the video description, because he does put up stories through the game of what's going on. And I've asked him tonight if there's any chanting, get it on record. So get on Instagram. It's a really unique thing that we have. Not Instagram. What we do on our United Stand Instagram is very unique. It gives you that glimpse of what it's like inside Old Trafford on a match day. So if you haven't seen that, and if you're on Instagram, just make sure you follow us. I don't promote it enough. It's brilliant, because I sit there after the game and I just sit and watch it all. Isn't it scary to think that Ollie is happy with the quality within our squad? He always comes out making excuses, never really showed major ambition, says Jay Singh. I just think he's out of his depth, and I think some people take that as a criticism, and I suppose it is in a way, but he's just a basic coach, and he's surrounded by basic coaches. They may become good in the future if he can survive that long, but they're not up to the job, are they? Maybe we're not overpaying like we have done in the past. Post-Fergie transfers have been a disaster because of what we've paid. Making a stand now for future transfers, says Lee Calder. Look, I don't mind that, Lee. I don't mind that, Lee. But if I ask everybody a question now, do you want Manchester United to overpay on transfers? I think we'd all say, no, of course we don't. Is now the time for Manchester United to make a stand halfway through the season over 5 million on Bruno Fernandez, when we've got a chance of getting top 4 and winning the Europa League if we sign him? If we don't sign him, then we might not do that. So now is not the time for me. And also, right, we're not overpaying for Bruno Fernandez. Sporting Lisbon wants 60 million euros. That's 50 million pounds. We're not in a footballing recession. We paid 2 years ago, we paid 50 million pounds for Fred. 3 years ago, or was it 2 years ago, we paid 40 million pounds for Matic. They're centre defensive midfielders. Bruno Fernandez is a goal-scoring attacking midfielder who's got goals and assists coming out of him all over the place, and he's 25, and he's a leader. He's worth 60 million euros. We're not overpaying. It frustrates me personally when people say, we're making a stand, we're not overpaying. They're not asking for 100 million. They want 60 million. That's what he's worth. We refuse to pay it. We want to get him on the cheap. And that's not making a stand. That's being tightwads, basically. Charles Crane says, why isn't Bay in? This is a must-win to go within 3 points of top 4. I never thought we'd worry about taking points off Burnley at Old Trafford. And Calamity Jones should not be starting, and Greenwood should start up top with Martial on the left. What is Ollie doing? Says Adam VCS. I think we'll be all right. Red Baron, I keep saying that. Hopefully I'm reassuring you, because it's not reassuring me. And Red Baron says, hey Mark, at least we didn't lose as much as last year, but Ollie, we didn't score either. So are you saying not scoring is better? Joker of a manager? Okay. And Brian Murphy, I hope so much that the fans give Glazers stick. It'd be interesting tonight. Remember, we were winning 4-0 against Norwich, and the fans still chose to chant and sing about the Glazers and Woodward. There's more reason to do it tonight. So we'll see. But I don't know whether it's going to happen. It's their choice, isn't it? Simon Helden says, hi Mark, would it not suit us today to start Greenwood over Mata and give him the full 90 minutes? I've got to say, I would have played Mata today. It's Pereira I would have dropped. Mata should have played and Greenwood should have played and Pereira should have been dropped, because I felt that Pereira, what did I give Pereira as a player rating on Sunday? Was it like 3 or 4? So he doesn't deserve to start, but there we go. I think Ollie should have a fight with Woodward, says Sam JK. What, and then just walk out? Yeah. I've got to say this to you as well. You can take it with a pinch of salt. You can, whatever. I've been told by numerous people now, well, Phil Brown, I can name. That's a source I can name, who is works in America and has sources with Manchester United. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. Manchester United have been in talks with Pochettino. I've also been told by 2 or 3 other people I cannot name that Manchester United are in talks with Pochettino. So, look, I think the way things are going at the moment, unless we get top 4 or we win the Europa League, I think Solskjaer will be gone and Pochettino will come in. I still think Solskjaer can save his job, and I think looking at the way things are, he should save his job. But I don't think it's in question that Manchester United are talking to Pochettino. I also don't think it's necessarily the big breaking news some people would want it to be. Is it, in a very incompetent football club, does it surprise you that when a manager's not doing well in January, we're talking to an available manager? We did it with Van Gaal, and the club kept saying they were going to keep Van Gaal, but there was lots of rumours that they were talking to Mourinho, and what happened? Van Gaal won the FA Cup and Mourinho came in. I'm not saying that's going to happen this time, but I think it's logical and correct. They don't get much right, but I think it's logical and correct that they are talking to Pochettino, because that's what a club like Manchester United should be doing when it's performing like it is on the pitch. That doesn't mean that Ollie can't keep his job. That doesn't mean that Manchester United don't want him to keep his job. I think it's just a contingency plan. Not sure 1408 says, with United having world-class players for every single season, Di Maria, Pogba, that bring money via brand deals, Pogba and Adidas. And with Pogba leaving, do you think the club save for a summer world-class signing? I think Manchester United would like to sign Jadon Sancho, but I don't think they'll get anybody more world-class than that. I can't see United attracting a player like a Pogba anymore. Why would they? I mean, when Pogba came in, it was meant to be the renaissance. You know, Mourinho had just come in. You could understand why Pogba did it. We paid him good money. Who's going to come to Manchester United now? Even if we get Pochettino, are you still going to get... You're never going to get a world-class player with Ollie, but are you going to get a world-class player with Pochettino as well? I think those days are done for United, and it might not be a bad thing. What about Rooney for a short-term loan, Mark? Says Sage Mayan. But he is... Rooney is a coach for Derby County, isn't he? He's on a trajectory there. Why would he come back to Manchester United? I don't think Rooney can play Premier League football. He couldn't play Premier League football 3 years ago. So why can he play it now? I think, with all due respect, this is a bit like bringing Zlatan back. Zlatan was done. Rooney was done. Why would you bring them back? I personally think it's crazy, but there you go. The Glazers at Woodward are staying. Get used to it, says Dellis Birmingham. I don't think anybody disagrees with you on there, Dellis. I think we all know that. But also, on the other hand, I don't think Manchester United have been in a bad a situation as they are now. So I think everybody has a right to moan about it. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're on 636,700 subscribers. So 300, and that number in the top right-hand corner will change. Bottom right hand corner, we're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got fan cams after the game, match reactions, transfer daily every morning, previews, call-ins. Calling on Monday night was brilliant. Get involved. The community is superb. And also, yes, so subscribe bottom right hand corner. But I can't tell you enough. Go to the video description, go to the Instagram link and follow us, because Flex goes to the games and he does Instagram stories around the grounds, in the grounds, home and away. It's really good to keep abreast of what's going on. And you can watch it all after the game. You don't have to leave me. You can just watch the story after the game, which is what I do. This match would be harder than a wedding night, Dick, says Daniel Ajeza. Stop nicking my jokes. And seen as desperate makes it harder to negotiate, says the DMG Studio. I tweeted it out earlier, and I'm quite happy to say this. I hope that Sporting Lisbon do hold their ground. I hope that they say, up yours. You pay us 60 million euros or you don't get him. And then if we don't get him, we can just all blame it on the club. Simple as that, isn't it? Because it ain't acceptable. It is not acceptable what's going on, and I would have expected Manchester United to do a little bit better, to be honest. But no, that's not been the case so far. What happened to Pogba, says Keelan? Pogba's injured, mate. Pogba is injured. Simples. Paul Pogba's injured, isn't he? Can't wait for this, Mark. Part of the bus versus part of the bus, says Leo Spate. We're going to have to play on the front foot, aren't we? We'll have to play on the front foot tonight. You can't sit back against Burnley, for God's sake. I mean, look, to bring it back to the game, I think if Bruno Fernandez was here, we'd all feel a little bit more confident. But even without him, we've only got to score 1 goal to win this game. That's all we've got to do. We beat them 2-0 over Christmas, and they ain't that good. Defensively, we're good. Defensively, I've just said that with Phil Jones without thinking that Phil Jones is in the team. But defensively, we're good. And I think their best player is McNeil. And he's up against Wan-Bissaka. So good luck, lad. Their threat will be set pieces, but you'd think with Matic and Maguire, they're dominant in the air. We've shown you those stats on the Smarter Scout before. They're absolutely dominant in the air. So I don't see Burnley scoring. I think the worst result we could get tonight is a 0-0. But we're at Old Trafford. We'll surely score 1. So I'm not saying it's going to be pretty, but I think we will win. It's a sign that the Glazers' cash cow is running low. Here's hoping they are savvy enough to sell United sooner rather than later to minimise the damage. Well, remember, I've been saying this for over a week now. I don't think we've got any money. Butchered my surname, Mark. Laugh out loud, says Sage. Well, S-A-G-E in my language is Sage. I'm really apologetic if I've got your name wrong, but that's Sage, isn't it? Sage. Sag. 2 inches is hell at 100 miles an hour, says Mike Hawks. Okay, I'm not stupid, Mike. And why is it difficult to sign a director of football? Says Sam A. A world-class director of football will be able to find talented players who are cheaper than what we have been playing. Yeah. Well, look, the story is with Pochettino is that the stumbling block with Pochettino is that if he's given the job, he wants control of transfers, and he would like to bring someone like a Paul Mitchell in as his director of football. But United don't want that because then Woodward loses control. So I think the future of Manchester United could be dependent on what happens in the summer, because if Ollie stays, I think we're going to see more of the same. If Ollie goes and Pochettino comes in, he must be able to appoint a director of football and have control of transfers. If he doesn't, we're just going to get worse and worse. We're on the brink here. I mean, we are on the brink. We're going to get worse, aren't we, if it continues like this? Okay, Ollie is only in a job because top 4 isn't gone yet. He should thank the Lord the league is bad this year, or else he would have been gone by now. Shambles, says Christopher Lou. Well, I was looking at UTD Arena on Twitter, and I retweeted it on the United Stand today. Made a very good point that the points tally that United have at the moment, in any of the last 7 or 8 seasons, we'd be like 8th, 9th, like we wouldn't be 5th. Ollie or Poch is an interesting debate, but in reality, do we think things will change as long as the board are not willing to invest in the club, says Simon Haldon. Oh no, 100%. I've said this before. Nothing's changing at that football club, even if Jurgen Klopp's in charge. You might get top 4, but we want to win titles. The Machine 94 says, I've been subscribed for about a year or more and I've really enjoyed the time watching, and 2-1 to Manchester United. Well, he fancies Burnley to score. And FUGFDTGFUFFC. Can't believe we paid that, what we did for Pogba, and balked at the price for Bruno, and since that purchase the club hasn't done better. Now we want a better player for way less. Yes. Depressing that Chong and Gomez don't get a look in, says Charlie Houghton. And the Saudis will buy Liverpool instead, says Wolverine Scratch. And is that the lineup confirmed one, says Stefan Fox. Yes, it is. What if Simeone was available, says Archie Brown. God, no, not for me. No, I don't like Simeone. No, too defensive. Sorry, Sage. He says, no, my second name is Majin. Haha, no worries. Sorry, pal. Sorry. Jones will give up a goal, says JS. I genuinely, look, I'm not going to tempt fate and say that Burnley won't score, but I don't expect them to score because they're a little bit toothless up front. And I know they scored 2 goals against Leicester, but I think that United in the air will have more than enough to deal with Burnley, and I think that's their only strength. So I think we'll win 2-0. That's been my prediction. Neves or Ndidi would you go for, and why, says Chicarito Hernandez. So for me, I think Ndidi would probably be one of my number 1 signings if it was possible. We won't get him, but he would be one of my number 1 signings. I mean, look at Leicester. Without Ndidi, they've started dropping points and losing games. So I think he'd be absolutely perfect for Manchester United. We look like a mid-table team on paper, says #OllieIn. Thanks, Adam C. And Burnley will definitely score, says T. Sid. A few people just talk, just very, very quickly, a bit of a snap poll, but we'll do it in the live comments. Yes or no? Will Bruno Fernandez come? Yes, he comes. No, he doesn't. Just very quickly. And try not to be hyper negative, because I'm very pissed off about how we've dealt with this deal. I think it's embarrassing. I think trying to, act like the big club and get him on the cheap is ridiculous. But I still think, I still think it will happen. What if we do not sign anyone in January, says Christopher Solberg? Well, ultimately, what if we don't? Will anything change? I don't think it will. Mark, do you think Nick Pope and Dean Henderson should get the call-up for England? Yes, I think they're both very good goalkeepers, John Morris. I can tell you that the vast majority of people are saying no, so maybe the negativity is taken over, but I'd say 90% of people in the live comments are saying no, the deal will not happen. Interestingly, Adith Balakrishan says that we'll get Cavani. I don't want Cavani, I've said that, but I suppose Cavani over nothing is better than nothing, so I can see why people would want him. But what I think is quite interesting about Cavani now is, what if Chelsea enter the market for Cavani? Because Chelsea have always been better than us at transfers, and if that Tammy Abraham injury is bad, they won't mess about, Chelsea. They'll go and make a signing to make them get top 4. And that's what I'm saying. That's what Manchester United should be doing as well. Luca Cantarelli says, hopefully the club becomes desperate for Poch and he is very demanding in contract talks in terms of control over transfers or appointing his director of football. And also, Luca, not just that, it'd be good if he could say, I want this amount of money as well to spend when I come in. So that would be good. But whoever the manager is, I would like to see that happen. Just a very quick update for you, because there are other games going on tonight, and I don't think there's anything going on of major significance for us. But I can tell you that it's 0-0 in Leicester West Ham, and it's 0-0 in Tottenham Norwich. So Tottenham are currently 3 points behind us anyway. So Tottenham could still get in a race for top 4 because Chelsea are just ridiculously bad at letting people back in, aren't they? They just keep leaving the door open, so to speak. There are other games tonight as well. Charlton, Fulham, Forest, Reading. Ibiza are losing 2-1 to Barcelona from being 1-0 up. I think that's the Copa del Rey. Juventus 0-0 with Roma in the Coppa Italia. There you go. Big BGG says, being a Spurs fan, I can say you will love the style of play under Poch, and I can see him being great for Greenwood's development. He's a good developer of talent, and he's a good identifier of talent, Pochettino. There's no doubt about that. Let's start a fundraiser to help the Glazers, says Johnny Bologna. I'd never do a Just Giving page for the Glazers. Never in a million years, because they'd pocket 90% of it themselves. And Sage says, I don't really understand why Greenwood is not playing even with Rashford out. I honestly feel like sometimes I can make better lineup decisions than their professional managers. Yeah, and I think that's been going on at United for quite a while. Leicester have just scored, says Tony Bain. It is 1-0 in that game. Okay, a lot of people are saying that as well. So there you go. Leicester beating West Ham 1-0. It is interesting with Pochettino, isn't it, as well? Because it's almost like Spurs fans are very sympathetic of Pochettino now and wish they had him back. And we were very sympathetic of Spurs when they got Mourinho, because Mourinho's box office when he first gets a job is full of it. We saw him with United, but I just don't think he's a good coach at the highest level anymore. And I think that this is happening at Spurs, isn't it? Apparently there is some... apparently at Spurs... I don't know what I'm just watching on normal telly there. Somebody just getting ripped apart by Wolves on Habito mortgage thing. And it's like 8 o'clock at night. I can't believe I've just seen that on mainstream media. Mainstream TV. No youth against Burnley. If not, when? Says Mike Cass. But yes, what I was going to say is, with regards to Pochettino and with Mourinho, I think he's just done, isn't he? Done at the top level as far as I'm concerned. Mog Fost says, hi Mark. Been watching for 4 years now. Gone so quickly. As much as I want Bruno... can see us holding back and getting Maddison when we should get both. And Pig Den 15, apparently Bruno said he was desperate to come. I actually feel bad for him. Even when he tried to force the deal, it still doesn't happen because of Woodward. And Josh Sutton, United no money, sporting money issues. This Fernandez deal is like watching a 2 T-Rexes arm wrestle. I like it. I've imagined it, Josh, and I can see what you're on about as well. But yeah, look, what happens with Bruno Fernandez. He's the perfect player. I've said it before. I was very angry in the summer that we didn't get it done. The only thing I'm grateful with this January is that it's been played out in public by credible people letting it be known that we're in for him. I know we were in for him in the summer and we walked away for the same reason. So I do feel justified. Do I think it's going to happen? I still think it will, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. I'm just very fed up. I'm a very fed up Manchester United fan at the moment. And I don't think there are many United fans now shouting out, oh, you're just so negative, because they've seen what a lot of us have been seeing for a long time now. It's not about being negative. It's about how the club's being run. The club is a shambles, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. Cashed in my Rashford on Football Index. Here's 10% for you, Mark, says Brian Paul. Shit, I need to do that, mate. I need to do that as well. And Ollie doesn't want the same problem to happen with Greenwood. That's why he's on the bench, says Alonso the Kid. We all have hope knowing Woodward will be gone in the next 2 years for sure. Everyone knows what he's about. No hiding anymore. Woodward out, says Mel Bob. But the thing is, who sacks Woodward? It's the Glazers. Why would they sack him? And Dylan Sub says, think we need a false 9 rather than a classic striker like a Bobby, but not many of there, and uncertainty not in January. Get Bruno now and Diddy in the summer. I mean, I must say this is quite an interesting thing as well. Why are we looking for a striker? Why because Rashford's injured are we looking for a striker? Because Rashford doesn't play as a striker. He plays off the left wing. So why are we looking for a striker? We don't play Rashford up front. We play Martial up front. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I can see why we're doing it. But actually, if we're going to get technical here, he actually plays as a winger. We need a classic striker. We don't have one, says Cress Welsing. And I think that may be why. You've answered the question I was going to come to there. I think the reason we're looking for a striker is because we never bloody got one in the summer. But we do need a classic. I mean, look, Erling Haaland was perfect. And we decided not to go for him, or he snubbed us. Believe whatever story you want. But the reality is we should have gone for him, and we should have paid the money for him because he would have been perfect for what we need. That's the sort of striker we need. Tall, target man, but also good around the ground and fast. You know, it's the sort of Harry Kane player we need. That's what we need. Sino says that this fixture screams 0-0 for me. Phoenix of Ashes, thanks for the contribution. I'd go for a right winger, to be honest. We don't have a natural right winger in the squad, but Chong, who is leaving, it says Auger plays. Yeah, we don't. I mean, Dan James plays there. I mean, Dan James playing tonight. I mean, look, let's just go back to the team lineup because the game is not that far away from kickoff now. Jens Bovell says next few results will decide the Bruno deal. That's the lineup on the left. And if you look at Dan James over the last 2 months, not good enough. You look at Pereira over the last few weeks, not good enough. You could say the whole season with Pereira, to be fair. Mata has come in and helped us out, to be fair. In the last couple of games he's played, he's done quite well. Martial, he's been good, but he needs service. Matic has been good recently. Fred's been brilliant for weeks. Maguire looks good. Jones is suspect. Wan-Bissaka's player of the year for me. De Gea is looking better at the moment. And Brandon Williams has been a breath of fresh air. So defensively we look good. It's the goals. And I think we're going to be very reliant on Juan Mata tonight. And hopefully Dan James at some point, he's either going to get worse or he's going to play his way through. But it's going to be interesting as to how we've got to win tonight. We've got to win. 3 points off top 4 if we win. We don't deserve to be, but we do because that's the league we're playing in. Happy if Woodward was sleeping. No, I'm not going to read that, Mark Smith. I can't read stuff like that, but I know what you mean. Basically, he says he'd just be happy if Ed Woodward wasn't at Manchester United anymore in a more horrible way. We need a Bobby Charlton type in the midfield, Mark, says Chris Brown. And why is Mata not in the middle? Surely Pereira is quicker off the mark and Mata has the better vision, says Brandon Macy. Well, that's only how I've gone with it there. I'll swap it once the game kicks off because it could well be that Mata is playing more central. Why is Jones starting? I don't know. Does Haaland have a 50 million clause in his Dortmund deal, says John Tuji 66. Apparently he does. Yeah, apparently he does. But, you know, who knows? We'll find out when he makes his next move, won't we? Martin says, do you rate 16-year-old from Birmingham, Jude Bellingham, higher than youth like Greenwood, Chong or Gomez? Well, look, it's hard to say because if Gomez was playing for Birmingham, he might be tearing it up in the Championship. Same with Chong. I think they both should have been loaned out in the summer, and I said it in the summer. With regards to Mason Greenwood, I mean, Mason Greenwood's 2 years older than Jude Bellingham, by the way, and Greenwood's very young at 18. So this kid looks like he's potentially going to be fantastic. So I would sign him if I was United, yeah. James must play good to start over Greenwood, says a Dumigan boss. I don't think that works, though, does it? I don't think that theory works, and I think that's what annoys a lot of United fans. Like, you know, James must play well to keep Greenwood out of the team, but James has been poor for a while. Surely Greenwood should get his chance. It's the same with Pereira. Pereira was atrocious. You could argue that Greenwood should be playing and Mata playing centrally and Greenwood off the right. So there's two players playing tonight that really shouldn't be playing ahead of Greenwood on recent form. James and Pereira. They've not been good. Waiting for the Phil Jones face expression, says Legends Live. Why not give Levitt or Garner a chance over Matic, as Nathan Smith? To be honest, I've got to be fair. I don't think Matic and Fred, anybody can argue about them. I think they've been good. But we need to try and stretch Burnley today. And I don't know whether Burnley away from home are harder than they are at Turf Moor, because at Turf Moor they're the home side, so they've got that sort of pressure to perform. At Old Trafford, they'll probably play quite deep, and Burnley on the break are slow, and we exploited them on the break, and they're just showing a lot of the goals that they've conceded on the break this season. So they're slow at the back, Burnley, but I don't think they'll play a high line. I think they'll play quite deep. And it's about chance creation for United tonight. We've got to create chances. We're going to miss Rashford. We're going to miss Rashford, but it's how much we're going to miss him, because he has been one of the best players in Europe. And Ashok says, Ashok Adhikari, who's a member, I can see your little member's badge there, welcome. He says, he's been a member for 9 months as well. I can see that. I didn't know I could do that. Ashok, you're a top person. He says, with Rashford out, we cannot play both of our strikers at the same time. So it's good to bring Greenwood off the bench so that both Martial and him can be kept away from injury. Interesting theory. Thank you, Ashok, one of our members. Haven't seen many members in the live comments tonight. Phil Jones or Mustafi, who's worse, says Luke Jones. God, you could have a 10-hour debate on that. I think we'd all agree they're both calamitous. Charlie Bass, T, he's in the house, and he's been a member for 9 months as well. Wow, absolutely wow. Latest member is Joskian Alexander. Welcome, pal. And we've had a contribution here. I'm Dare, says Shiraj. He's been a member for a month. Welcome, Shiraj. Martial is a player United fans think every club is scared of, but literally no one is. False hope is real just because he plays with a little flair. That's from Mike. Paul DeLuca's in the house, 5 months. 8 months for Philip Anderson. I'm shouting out my members now. Michael Gibbs, who's new, and he says the stadium looks empty. It could be an interesting one tonight for United. I would hope. You know, I think last week when we played in the Cup against Wolves, it was quite empty, and you said, well, you can sort of understand that because it's a Cup game, and we've had a lot of games recently. But Burnley in the league, you'd expect the ground to be a little bit fuller. Rio Mia, I'm up in the house, get funky. Hello, Ria. We've done that one. And Deepak Sharma says, I've been following Man United for 10 years. This is by far the weakest squad we have got. If we don't sign quality players, we're going to struggle. We'll probably still get top 4. Into greatness. Hiya, pal. Josh Bowerter. I'm just shouting out some of the members at the moment. Bash Gaming. Mark, I heard that United said they didn't want to pay the Bruno price since they didn't want to inflate the Maddison price. Yet Juan Mata is on 160 grand a week. Exactly. Josh Bowster, Pink Boots. Yeah, remember, if you're a member, you have got access to our emojis as well. How about getting Van der Sar as our sporting director? Your thoughts, says Phoenix Avashas. Yeah, I definitely would take him. And welcome to Stephen Ryan, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Let me just check how many subscribers we've got, because we are getting close to 637, and I think we can hit it tonight. So please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. We're still 300 away. We've not had many subscribers in the last half an hour. I suppose most people probably have subscribed to the channel now, haven't they? But if you haven't subscribed, bottom right hand corner, please do get involved with the channel. Fantastic community. Got some good content for you tomorrow that's going to be going up. I can't say much, but you'll see it tomorrow morning. And please share the video as well. If you're watching, there's a share button. You can share it on Twitter and Facebook by doing that. Thinking of applying for a digital marketing post at Manchester United. Apparently they pay you 100k a week only for updating your social media accounts, says Repentant Singh. I don't think they play that well. From what I've heard, Manchester United don't pay that well. Hopefully Fernandez comes, says Rory Bacon. Olivier Giroud on loan, Mark, says Alonso the Kid. Why would Chelsea even let Giroud go? They're a club that have very limited striking options as well. I mean, that Batshuayi, he's crap, isn't he? He really is poor. Really bad. Welcome to White Owl and Mad Moose, latest members of the United Stand Members Club. Thanks for joining. And I really hope we win today. I need something to cheer me up, says member Philip Anderson. I think we will win, but you don't know. But I think we will. I mean, I know we've been bad this season, but how can we not beat Burnley? Pratik Sankuza says, I'm not a member, but I've been following United Stand since 80,000 subscribers, and I remember you had Ramble with Robbie and the likes of Ross on Sundays. Love your work. Yeah, I used to like the little Ramble. And Ali K says, Mark, is James just another example of Ollie burning out a new talent who's not ready to take on so many games? I'm not going to read what you've just said about being naked in bed. We don't need to read that. But I thought you made a good point before that. I think Dan James has been played too many games. It wouldn't surprise me if Dan James was the next player to get a long-term injury, actually. Liam Tim says, hey Mark, saw Ian Wright's comment on Ollie. What are your thoughts on that, mate? Don't think we can put all the blame on him. Just my 5 cents. Glory, glory, Manchester United. And Mohammed Salim says, Mark, can you shout out my girlfriend Savina? She doesn't like the United stand. Apparently I spend all my time watching you. Hey mate, Mohammed, you're not the first person to say that. I get told this all the time. Can I have an M-sip instead of a peppermint tea? Thanks. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to do it on my own, I think. Mohammed, you're not the first person to say that. Loads of people tell me this, that their other halves can't stand me. But you know what? Let them watch football. Your other halves. Stop judging. Nathan Smith's just subscribed, welcome. And Nitin Mendaka says, waiting to see if there are any Glazers out chants more than seeing the match. That's how bad it is. Well, if you want to hear those chants, follow us on Instagram. The link is in the video description. Just scan down the page. Our website's there. But our Instagram page, if you're on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, because Flex puts videos up every game of what's going on inside the ground. But I did tell him to film any of the singing tonight if there is any. So if you want to get that as it happens, make sure you're following us on Instagram for the stories. Stuart Thomas, Mark, how many first teams should there be? We are really short. How can we survive the rest of the season? Says Stuart. I don't know, Stuart, because actually we've got so many games to play and we haven't got much of a squad. So I can see us picking up more injuries, to be honest. But I suppose the positive is if Chelsea got loads of games as well. Arsenal have got loads of games. Spurs have got loads of games. And, you know, if they all continue to be crap, then we might be able to grind it out. But if you're going to grind it out, you've got to win here today. I'm just watching the Leicester goal here. Barnes scoring again. After scouting Bruno in the summer, Ollie started playing 4-2-3-1, where the attacking midfielder is the most important player. Maybe he knew we were going to get him and started adapting other players to 4-2-3-1, says Yasha Markovsky. Well, he might have done. He might have done that, but how stupid not to get the player that can play that position. So, yeah. He might have done that, but it doesn't make much sense to me. Burnley can still get pulled into a relegation fight, by the way. So, they could do with a result. Players are about to come out. Just sorting a tweet out. Please do share the video. You can do that. You can help me out. I wouldn't have to do this if you lot all did it. If 15,000 of you just shared it on Twitter, I wouldn't even bloody need to share it myself. But I'm live. It's kickoff. Kickoff. What game was that? I used to play a computer game where it used to go kickoff. I think it was Italia 90 on the Mega Drive. Nobody's going to remember that. You get to an age where people just don't remember stuff like that. They ain't watching YouTube. They're at home watching whatever the wife's telling them to watch, or, you know, EastEnders or something like that. Something like that. Josh Sutton says, been relying on streaming sites to watch United games. Now I find out my post-paid phone company have EPL broadcast rights in Australia. Time to upgrade. Was that a conversation with yourself, Josh? I have nothing. I have nowhere to go with this. I have nowhere to go with these types of comments. Spending on Koulibaly when we need a CDM, a central attacking midfielder, a right winger and a striker, says Sud Khan. I've got no belief that we are going to buy Koulibaly. My girlfriend Katie also doesn't like you. Can you tell her to sod off, please? Says Mario 8. Katie, I'm a nice guy. I'm not gonna tell you to sod off, even though your boyfriend enjoys watching the telly. But stop being a hater, Katie. Hatey Katie, that's what you are. You're a hater, Katie. Stop being a hater. Like, what have I ever done to you? I'm a nice guy. I'm married. I've got kids. I raise money for charity. I just love football and I say what I think, and that's what we do on this channel. But don't be a hater, Katie. Be nice. Be nice. And let him watch the United stand all the time. Anyway, we've got a real game coming up. Katie's going to get absolutely blasted in the live comments as well now. Poor Katie. We all love Katie, really. We love you, Katie. But don't be a hater. Do you remember the pineapple guy, says GP? I'm still bloody dreaming about him. No, I'm not. cool under pressure, even when someone's got a knife in front of me. That's me. No, I'm not really. I should have ran. But Katie out now, chanting. And you think the bloody Glazers have got it bad. Right, we are nearly at kick-off here. And I tell you what I do need to do. I've enjoyed that hour there. It's been good. We had a good chat there. It was one of the longer hours building up for kick-off. I think it's because it's a quarter past 8 kick-off, to be honest with you. I thought Fred the Red was playing for us then. He's just done a high five on the pitch with Mata. Probably do a better job than Pereira, to be honest. But I'm only joking. But we are about to kick off. Let me get ready. Let's get ready. Let's get ready to rumble. Watchers wreck the mic. That's classic Anton Deck. What am I singing bloody Anton Deck for? That's what United are doing to me. That's what they're doing to me. Katie out's trending. Imagine if we got Katie out trending on Twitter. If enough people were on Twitter and put hashtag Katie out and tweeted it, we probably could get it trending, you know. I don't want to do that, Katie. God, no. We love Katie, really. Let's cut her some slack. After the summer window, I said there was no way I couldn't back Ollie. The crappy board failed to support the manager. Those feelings remain. Cheers, says Wrecking Wenchers, and I'm going to go with 1-1. Well, we've got a game of football to watch here. And I must admit, the first half against Liverpool, for some reason, I enjoyed it more than I've enjoyed a United game in a long time. So hopefully we can get that. And the Bant Gaming, any Bruno updates, and are we linked to anyone else? There are some Bruno updates, and that is from Simon Stolman, Simon Peach, and they're saying that there's gridlock or deadlock between United and Sporting Lisbon. I was hoping it would be announced tomorrow. Maybe it will, but I think 25th because he used to wear 25 for Portugal. It's the sort of stuff United would do. Anyway, rough. I'm not confident, Mark, says the bit W. We need confidence. And my Daniel Ajeza says my dad likes football because of you, Mark. Fred's gone down here. I don't know what he's done. He's been fouled. It's all right. I thought he'd just gone down on his own. How dare you say we don't remember Italianity? Diagonal runs, bro, says LB. Oh, it was a good game. What I hated about it is you didn't know who scored your goals till the end, and then it would only show you the 3. But we're up and running. United, we're going to have a lot of possession in this game. Remember that stat before Christmas, though, when we have we've got the lowest win rates when we have more possession. Don't let the ball bounce, Harry. I think Harry Maguire's changed his boots. He looks like he's wearing orange boots tonight. Oh, good break by United here. Martial. Pereira. Give it to Williams now. Ah. Good start by United, though. Whizzing the ball around. Fred. Crap shot from the edge of the box. It's always Fred. Ollie has aged more in the last year than since his retirement, says Abernathy. I tell you what, he has. He proper has. Spurs are winning as well. Ollie's having a chat and a smile with somebody. Watch the game, Ollie. There's a match going on. You are the manager. Right, let's have a go. Let's have a see what's happening. United started off quite well. Good bit of passing move in that first minute. And I think that's the way to beat Burnley. They're a slow team. They're basically Stoke 2020. And they are slow. They are physical. But if you've got to move the ball quick. And that was quite good from United in the first minute. We were moving the ball quite quick. Either I'm colourblind. Oh, lovely little ball into Pereira there. So, yeah, I've got the formation right as well. Mata is playing off the right wing. What's all that about? There'll be a lot of interchangeability, though. And we've got an offside now with Wan-Bissaka. That's poor. That's subpar getting caught there. A lot of empty seats, says Mini Red Devil 7. There is quite a lot of empty seats. Yeah, I suppose midweek game. I don't know why. It's a Premier League game, isn't it? A chance to go into the top 4. But not been impressed by Burnley's start to this game. They are the away team, though. They might feel their way into it. But for United, early goals in these games is important. But United have started off quite quickly. Luke Davis says Mata's the worst right winger in the league. I don't know why we're playing him off the right. Hopefully he'll come inside a little bit. That's what she said. But hopefully he will come inside a little bit. So Phil Jones and Matic and Maguire, are they wearing orange boots or is it yellow? Am I going colourblind here? Because Harry Maguire normally wears yellow boots and I think they're all wearing orange boots, aren't they? There are a few empty seats tonight. Aisha says I wanted Chicharito to come back to United, but he's gone to Gal. I think he was past Premier League standard, to be honest with you. You know, sentimentality sometimes gets in the way of ability. DPI1705 says Matta's got no legs. Well, I can officially tell you he does have legs. He's not going up and down the wing in a wheelchair or anything like that. But I know what you mean. He's a little bit slow for that right wing position. But I suppose in a game like this, it's not the end of the world because he is a... Well done, Phil Jones. He is a... Burnley are a slow team, so I don't think he's going to get caught out. I think when you're playing someone like Leicester with Chilwell, who's going to bomb up and down, that's a problem. But I think United have probably looked at that, hopefully, and said, well, you know what? Good play by Fred there. I'm thinking maybe they might be yellow boots for Harry Maguire. I'm fixated on their boots now. Phil Jones doesn't wear any... He wears white boots now. He's gone Mr. Safe. He would never wear pink boots again. Because he did know about that thing. I do actually feel the shit. Anthony Martial's down injured here. We don't want to see that. Leicester are 2-0 up. Why does Jones start over Bailly? He's fit now, says Jake Chapo Guzman. Anthony Martial is down. Put the bloody ball out, Fred. Good. Martial injured, down injured. We don't want to see this. Well, I don't like those sort of things because he's just landed. There's no connection, and that to me is worrying. And I've always said this about Martial, my favourite player, but injury prone. But he is up. He's up. Or maybe there was a connection there because Martial is moaning at the referee saying, look at the mark on me. So I think it was a foul. It wasn't just the way he landed, which is good. Ricardo Pereira is one of the best right backs in the world and Martial is down. Reminds me of that Ibra injury, says Fitness and Scriptus Wrath. I think he's talking about two separate things there. Ricardo Pereira is a very good right back for Leicester. So that's slowed it down a little bit there. But United started off well for the first minute. And then Burnley sort of slowing the play down a little bit, which is what they want to do. Stoke. 2020 Stoke. Martial looks like he's going to be alright. Just a little bit sore. Put some cream on it, Tony. You'll be alright. United playing out from the back here. It's scary. It's really scary what we're trying to do here. Phil Jones and Matic trying to pass out from the back. Fair play, Matic has done quite well there. Thanks for the contribution, Lazy QK Avar. Brandon Williams into Pereira. Nice little 1-2. Overlap. Dan James. I would have gone for Brandon Williams there, Dan, to be honest with you. Cut him back in on your right foot. Good idea by Matic. Brandon Williams didn't read it. I'm not going to moan about Matic there. He's played a forward pass, which has always been something that he seemed to be allergic to, and he seems to do it more and more now. Mario Hansen says there should be a protest with not showing up to the games before Glazers Woody leaves or do some good for a change. Ryan Watson 3 Paris says I looked at the team sheet, Mark, seen Jones starting and went to bed. What are you doing typing then? We're going to spend the rest of the season squinting every time a player goes down in fear. That's what they've done to us. You're right, Nick, and we will get more injuries. We will get more injuries because you can't play. You know, we're only 5 months into this season, and there's still another 5 months to go. So we will pick up more injuries. Corner to United there, decent cross by Dan James. We will pick up more injuries, and I just think we need to be lucky and hope that those injuries happen in areas where we've got cover. You know, fullbacks, centre backs. We can't afford another midfielder injury until McTominay and Pogba are back, and we can't afford a striker injury at all. Cross came into the box. Lukaku left because Oli won't play him at number 9 position. Haaland didn't come for the same reason, and it's costing us the season, says Solskjaer Digital Media Agency. Well, Burnley are coming forward here at the moment. They tried to play a ball through the middle, but Harry Maguire cut it out quite well. But sloppy by Matic. I think Burnley wanted a foul on the edge of the box there, but the ref has played it on. Pereira started off quite lively in this game, and I think it will suit him playing against a slow team. But United have looked like they're trying to play a quick game, which I think is important. You've got to get the Stoke Brazilian, says Roy White. Yeah, that went a little bit more viral than I wanted it to be. I said on Sunday that Pereira, apparently born in bloody Brazil, more like he was born in Stoke, the Stoke Brazilian. But he didn't play well against Liverpool, and I think you've got to take the criticism on board when you don't play well. And but he's looking a bit more lively tonight, so maybe he'll react to that. Interesting stat going up on the telly there. Burnley against the Big Six this season have lost all 7 games. So, you know, as I say, I think we'll get over the line tonight. Fred shooting from the edge of the box. It's a bit like Rashford on free kicks, isn't it? One day he's going to score a worldie, but it's going to take him about 100 times to do it. Martial. Pereira. I would have knocked that back into Martial quick there. Better from United, putting balls into the box. Came off Pereira, goes for a goal kick. How come Fred's shooting is so bad, says Jonathan Gallagher? Because I don't think he's from Brazil either. I think he's from Luton. His shooting is shocking, isn't it? For a Brazilian. But then again, even Dunga. I remember him, the CDM. He was good. United on the attack again. Using the width, which is good. Brandon Williams knocked it down the line to Dan James. And Matic again with a bit of a heavy touch. Harry Maguire up against Jay Rodriguez. I think Jay Rodriguez is probably the quicker of the two, isn't he? I mean, look. Harry Maguire and Phil Jones against Chris Wood and Jay Rodriguez. It really is a race your granddad could win. But they're not pacey in them front 2 positions, so that's an issue that we don't have to worry about. Do you think we get a forward and Bruno soon, says Jonathan Gambrell? I can't see United getting 2 players when we haven't even got 1 and there's only a week left. So I'd love it to happen, Jonathan. I think we all would, but I can't see. You know, United take ages to do deals, so we're not even linked to the striker we're meant to be buying yet. So I can't see us doing it. Pereira trying to shoot from the edge of the box. Mark, don't you think putting crosses into the box will play into Burnley's hand unless it's a corner when Maguire can come up, says Jordan Such. I suppose so, but if it's a low cross and we're getting people into the box... I mean, I watched Arsenal play Chelsea last night in the first half, and I think Saka put a cross in, and they had 4 people in the box bombing into the box, and I thought that reminds me of what United used to do, especially in the first 10 minutes at Old Trafford. Get the ball wide with Evra or a Gary Neville, whip a cross in, and you'd have Scholes and Keane running into the box with York and Coley. We were always very good at that under Sir Alex Ferguson. Just get bodies in the box, and we don't do enough of that. I think, you know, Burnley will like the high cross, but I think if we can get some low crosses in, we'll be all right. And Burnley at the moment not offering anything really. The ball's just coming straight back to us. Looks like we may actually have more than men moving off the ball in our set offence. Only took half a season, says Sean Finity. I think it's been a decent start from United, actually. The proof in the pudding is, can we create chances? So I would disagree with people saying it's boring. I think we've tried to move the ball quickly, which is it's the right tactic against Burnley. You've got to move the ball quickly. But United, ultimately, you've got to create chances. We've tried to shoot from the edge of the box a couple of times. I don't think that's a bad thing. You've got to mix it up, though. You can't shoot from the box all the time. Offside there for Burnley. Fred takes so many shots, but I've never seen him score, says Deep T1705. And we can't create at all, says Billy the Lord. Anyone giving fake scores in the chat should get instant 90-minute ban. And empty seats, we are home. And Harry Maguire is wearing orange boots. Phil Jones is wearing white ones. He refuses to wear coloured boots anymore out of fear of being ridiculed by knobhead YouTubers. I was emotional. I said he shouldn't have took the penalty. I saw him in the pink boots and my mouth ran away with me. That's my defence. Anyway, 15 minutes gone, 0-0. United started off quite good. I've liked the fact that we've moved the ball around nicely, but the problem is when you get to 15-20 minutes, Burnley start to settle into the game a little bit, and they might grow in confidence. So we need to keep this tempo up. I mean, Matic having to go all the way back to the keeper there. They won't like that. Flex was telling me at the game last week, Matic played a pass backwards. The crowd went mad, and he turned at the crowd and basically gave them eyes to say, F off. But I think Matic has done okay recently, and I'm not a big fan of Matic. Greenwood should be starting on the right and Mata replacing him on the 17th minute. You should never start a player that can't finish 90 minutes, says Soprino. United on the attack. Oh, Martial should have scored. Brandon Williams keeps it in. Pereira. Goal, corner. Martial should score there. Good cross. Good cross from Wan-Bissaka, and Martial really should be tapping that in. I mean, look, you can't argue. He's got a score there. Should be 1-0. Soph says unlucky, but I think he's got a score. Soph, my favourite player, but he's got a score. He's happy about it. Good play though, Mata into Wan-Bissaka, and Wan-Bissaka. I wish we had scored that because I love Anthony Martial, but also it'd be good for Wan-Bissaka to start getting a few injuries. Harry Maguire thinks he's Superman here. Good defensive tackle by Phil Jones. He's focused. Phil Jones, eye the tiger. He's up for this. He's thinking, I'm not going to get ridiculed by United fans. Wood winning the flick on there against Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire needs to stop that. Burnley having to go to the halfway line here. United pressing high up the pitch, which is good to see. Wan-Bissaka letting that bounce. Shouldn't do that. Good tackle. He's such a good tackler, isn't he? Aaron Wan-Bissaka, such a good tackler. Martial and Rashford, not number 9s. We're a club without a senior striker, says the mystery man. And Jordan Such. Mark, don't you think... Yeah, we did that about the crosses, didn't we? Good for Wan-Bissaka to get a few injuries, Mark, says Ryan. I don't agree with that. And Jimenez to United would be great. He's already banging in the goals for my FIFA team, says Game Exploit. And what do you think's more achievable for us this season? Top 4 or Europa League, says Aaron O'Neill. Well, get in the live comments. What do you think? Do you think we're top 4 or Europa League? I think it changes week to week for me. I was talking to Flex about it this morning, actually, and it does change game to game. Like I actually think you've got Manchester United are going to have to prioritise Europa League or top 4. We clearly haven't got the squad to do both, and I can't be a hypocrite. I've been saying this for years now that you can't do top 4 and the Europa League because it starts to become ridiculous in relation to the amount of games you got to play. What a takedown by Mata. Oh, good recovery tackle though. So at the moment, I think that top 4 looks like the more easier thing to do. And that's the number 9 he kept, says Solskjaer Digital Media Agency. I think he's having a go at Martial. So at the moment, we're 3 points off. Well, if we win, we're 3 points off top 4. Unless Chelsea have got, we've got Chelsea in a few weeks. So, and then Chelsea have got the harder games in February. So we could get into top 4 quite easy. And if you get top 4 and hold on to it, I just don't think we've got the squad to do both. I think we've got to make a decision. But you know Ollie, you know what Ollie's like. He might be inexperienced and try and do both and burn out everything. So I think it's too early for United to have to make that decision. You don't need to make that decision until March. But if the choice was there, then I would rather. There's been an update from Simon Stone about Paul Pogba's injury as well. He says as soon as possible, as soon as he allowed, and as soon as it's responsible to do so. Maybe his willingness to come back before. He should have waited before, so he might be there now. We don't want to make that mistake again. So, I mean, not really much of an update, is there really, on that? Brian Clever's not happy with Mata on the wing. But Burnley are pressing high up the pitch as well. So both teams pressing high up the pitch, which is going to create space. And Wan-Bissaka's getting forward a lot here. Into Fred on the edge of the box. Dan James. I don't mind Dan James shooting from the edge of the box. I just don't like Fred shooting from the edge of the box. Gone back to Jones, Matic, Jones, to you, to me, to you. Now Burnley's passing's atrocious, isn't it? They can't get out of our half at the moment. Brandon Williams. Really afraid of Maguire getting injured, really. Hope he can hold on until the rest of the season, says Ian Carriac. And is Dan James a footballer or a track star, says Twally18. I feel... Look, I've got no problems giving Dan James a low score when he doesn't play well, but I do feel sorry for him because I think he's been overworked. He's a championship winger who was meant to be sort of gradually being phased into the team this season, and we've treated him like a first-team Premier League star from day one, and you know, you're going to have your peaks and troughs, and I think he needed to be sort of fed in a little bit, in and out of the team a little bit more, but he's had a lot of pressure on him. Has there been any chanting about the Woodwards and the Glazers yet? Check us out. Check it out on Instagram. Flex puts the stories of the game up on there. You can follow us on Instagram and listen to any good bits that are going on in the ground. The link in the video description is there for you to do that. But 20 minutes gone. United should be 1-0 up. I think we deserve to be 1-0 up. It was a good chance for Anthony Martial. And our passing has been better than Burnley, which has been poor. But it's not really Burnley's game. We've stopped Burnley from doing what they want to do, really, which is get into the final third and put high ball into the box, which is why we're pressing them higher up the pitch. And there you see, it's just a hoof ball into De Gea's hands. And then we move the ball quick. There's a game plan tonight. You can see what it is. Pereira trying the ball over the top, but their keeper's got it. People getting on Martial's back already. Yeah, going back to that, I think if Harry Maguire got injured, I'd rather Harry Maguire get... I mean, I don't want anyone to get injured, but if somebody said, you're going to have another big injury, who do you want it to be? I probably would say a centre-back, because we have got centre-backs. We can't afford an injury to Dan James or Martial, whether they're in form or not. We just can't. Mata, decent shot, that. Fred, straight at the keeper from the edge of the box. Burnley on a rare attack forward here. Passing's terrible, well in by Matic. United can now break away. And it's not a good ball by Martial. Martial's not had a good start to the game, has he? Good tackle by Brandon Williams there. I thought it was a good tackle. It's a shame he's given a foul because we would have been away there. Do you know why fans boo Jones? Bit weak, says Louis Dresson. I don't think they do. I doubt United fans would boo a player, really. Sophie, Martial has been sloppy. I agree. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're trying to get up to 637,000 tonight. You can do that by clicking in the bottom right hand corner. We're live for every... We've got fan cams. We're live for every match, chats, transfer news, previews, call-ins, all that jazz. And there's Burnley knocking the ball into the box. And Wood heads it wide. Probably the best chance of the game with Martial's that. It fell to him in the 6-yard box and probably should have scored. And this is what Burnley like to do. Loft the ball into the box. Win the first header. He probably would have just been offside, I think. But half a chance. Do you think a different manager could make a big difference with this squad? With the same lack of backing from the owners as Ollie's got now? Which one? Says Andreas Hansen. I think a better manager would do a better job. But... they are booing Jones. It's sad, says Fitness and Richard Carath. But maybe maybe it's the Burnley fans. It might be the Burnley fans. Maguire's shirt is torn. That's one of the highlights of the half. That was a good song by Natalie Imbruglia, Torn. Back in the day. Who remembers Natalie Imbruglia? Neighbours. Harry Maguire against Wood is interesting if you like aerial duels. Now, I heard something the other day that apparently they're going to ban heading for football under 12s. I wonder if we will see a time when heading is banned altogether. Because apparently it's not good for you. Like it can give you brain damage long term and stuff like that. Matic switch. Mata on the left this side. Hit it. No. I can see why we're trying shots from the edge of the box, because Burnley are sitting in deep. Hit it, Matic. Nice switch of the play to Pereira. Terrible ball by Pereira. Burnley have it back. Not for long. Do you think Ollie can get it done with the right signings, or is a manager change necessary to get back to the top, says Pablo Mendes? It's a difficult question there, because at the moment, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the right man for the job. But at the moment, we're not going to get near a title anyway. So at the moment, it's like, you know, I'd give him till May. I think, I wouldn't sack him at the moment, but I would give him till May and then take it from there. Ultra Shaggy says, why is our play so boring? Phil Jones is struggling against Jay Rodriguez when the ball's in the air. Martial now. And Matic there waving Brandon Williams forward. I think the fullbacks are key in this game, the overlap. Too many touches, Pereira. That's too many touches. He's running out. He's got no options in front of him because all he's got is Martial and 5 bloody Burnley players. James has got to tuck in there. I know people will be saying, oh, Pereira, you've took too many touches. But when you look at it, he's got no one to pass to. Do you think that any of the players that we have now would be in a title-winning side for us, says the real Jake Nick 20, when we do have actually win it? Yeah, I think that people like Wan-Bissaka here. Good cross, Wan. Oh! Wan-Bissaka, nearly a tap-in for Wan Mata. United should have scored twice in this game. Wan-Bissaka could have had 2 bloody assists. Hard for Mata to adjust, but he could have had 2 assists. Oh, he should have scored, actually. He should have scored. Jerky Junkie says, why are we so slow up front? I feel sorry for Wan-Bissaka. It's a bit like Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw put a lot of good chances on people's heads and feet last season, and they missed them. And you're like, oh, Luke Shaw never gets an assist, but actually, it's down to finishing, isn't it? Wan-Bissaka never gets an assist. He could have had bloody 2. Why are we so slow up front? Says Jerky Junkie. And George Barrera says the Burnley fans are booing Jones because he played for Blackburn at youth and senior level. There you go. United fans wouldn't do that. Free kick to Burnley on the edge of the box. And Charlie Bass says we're missing a creative midfielder. If only one was available for about £50 million, this club is being destroyed before our eyes. You're right, mate. You're right. And Lee Goldart, Pereira is terrible. Play Gomez, probably his level, but Matic is having a cracking game. Williams is pure class. Yeah, I think Matic is doing quite well. I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. That's why I refuse people saying I've got an agenda, because actually I can actually be unbiased and say, you know, he's actually doing quite well. It's Burnley though, isn't it? I would expect Matic to play well against Burnley. I mean, is Matic totally awful, or is he just not a top 4 midfielder anymore? Mata seems lively. Crap free kick by Burnley over the bar. 6782 Anthony says Mata seems lively. It's sad he can only play 50 minutes. We need a solid number 10. Sign Bruno. I don't think we should have kept Mata, and I think Mata's played well against Norwich. He's playing well again tonight, but we're paying him 150 grand a week to play against flat track. You know, to be a flat track bully. Really, he's not a player that can contribute for 80% of our games, is he? But steady start from United. I think at the moment it's going the way I predicted it would. We're too good to lose to draw to Burnley. We'll win. One or 2-0. 2-0 I think we'll win. Gavin McGrath says we're still a bit too slow moving the ball. Get rid, Brandon. Get rid. Well done. Oh, he finds a pass as well. Dan James doesn't help you out. Burnley's passing's terrible, isn't it? Ugh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Glazer's chant being sung, I think, says Michael Maystar. Good. Good. A lot of people are saying it in the live comments. Glazer's chants are on. Nice switch of the play by Pereira to Wan-Bissaka there. Can he be third time lucky? Oh, he nearly was. Wan-Bissaka's crossing today has been fantastic. A good cross in there. Dan James' header on the back post tipped over the bar. Mayer's salary and game time Mata's game time and salary could have been shared between Chong and Gomez. Now both will go for free, says the mystery man. A short corner here. Mata's got ages to whip it in. Oh, and Matic was coming in on it. Jones playing well. Prefer him to Lindelof at the moment, says Pete Squire. Whoa, Pete, how many have you had to drink, mate? What are you smoking? Come on. Can't remember Phil Jones' last game against Sheffield United. He had to sub him off at half-time. I think, to be fair, Phil Jones and Harry Maguire are going to have a good game tonight. They're up against 2 physical, slow strikers and they're physical centre-backs, so they should be all right. Dan James here, running at the back. Get your head up. Good ball into Martial. And he loses it. Not having his best game, Martial. Louis Dresden, do you think there is any chance of United getting Louis Campos from Lille as a sporting director? Glad it wasn't United fans booing Jones. I think that's another fake story, Louis, to be honest. And would you believe one of these squads is the highest paid in the Premier League, says Michael Fetty? Yeah, it's madness, isn't it? Whether we win this game or not, which I think we will, it's a madness that we pay so much money to these players. But I don't think we'll get Campo from Lille, no. I think that's just a story that's been put out there. Martial! Oh, he's got to score again! Bloody hell, Martial. Couldn't hit the ocean from a boat at the minute. Couldn't find his way out of a telephone box. He's got a score there. Lovely ball by Matic. Martial won. He takes too many touches. He's got to get that at his feet. When his teammate of the year out, put Phil Jones coming marks as their real Jake Nick 20. And who would you start goalkeeper for England at the Euros? Says Samuel Welsh. Henderson. Martial's got to get that. You're allowed one touch and then shoot. He takes 3. And that gives the chance for the defender to tackle. That's what that is. It's not a good tackle. You take 2 touches there. You don't take 3 at Premier League level in the box. United should be winning this. I've got to be honest. I know Ollie normally always says it, but I think if Phil Jones is saying there's been an elbow. I think if Ollie came out at half-time and said we should be winning 2-0, we're just not taking our chances, I would actually pity him and say you're right for once. You're actually talking the truth. Love the show, mate. Waiting for the glorious return of Football Manager, says Roger9995. Yep, it will be out in February. We'll start getting back to doing that. What you can watch in the interim, if you wanted to, would be the Mark Goldbridge channel. It's just the Mark Goldbridge channel. I do a video every week called Going for Goldbridge. Today I was talking about jealousy, blue ticks and condoms. It's not football related. It's just talking about life and stuff like that. So if you like that, Mark Goldbridge channel, give it a search, give it a subscribe once a week. Take your questions, non-football related. It's my therapy, really. Look what Bruno's agent said to Sky Sports, says Gabe Peacock. Oh, can't someone just put it in a super chat for me? I can't be arsed. How am I going to find that, though? Sky Sports is such an arsehole to find stuff. Wan-Bissaka could have had a hat-trick of bloody assists today. Welcome to Callan Armstrong, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Please subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. You seen that picture of Ollie Gunnar? I'm going to have to save that to my phone because I think it could be good. I think there's a line in that. Well, I think United deserve to be winning. I know we're all fed up with the Glazers and Woodward, and I think we're right to be fed up with them, but I do think that United deserve to be winning. With Rashford out for the foreseeable, Martial really needs to step up. It could really be a make or break for his United career. Hope he can do it, says Crick MUFC. To be honest with you, I do like Martial, but he should have scored at least one of those 2 chances, let's be honest. Burnley have been awful. I mean, they're really just not a football side. They're just a hoof it, physical side. Rito says that Josh Bing just signed for Man City. David Hayes quick off his line there. It'd be nice to get a goal before half time. I think we deserve to be 1-0 up and front on the basis of play. And I'm not singing from the rafters about that. It's Burnley at the end of the day, and I would expect United to beat Burnley at home. That they've lost all 7 games against the top 6 this season. They're not a good side, Burnley, but we do deserve to be winning. I think we've been the better team on the ball. We've created the better chances. We just need to be a little bit more clinical. Heavy touch that was from Martial to Fred, to be honest. And Phil Jones fouls Chris Wood again. Sky Sports put George Mendes vid on their Instagram, says Gabe Peacock. Oh yeah, but George Mendes, I already knew that, Gabe. So George Mendes has basically said that that Bruno Fernandez might move in the January transfer window, but he'll definitely move in the summer if not. And George Mendes is not Bruno Fernandez's agent. That's why it threw me. He's just involved in the deal. Imagine Haaland's efficiency today. He'd have 2 goals, says Stig Helg Westerheim. Burnley are a team I'd love to see get relegated. I'm sorry if there are any Burnley fans. Don't worry, there's not many. Oh, shit! They've bloody scored! I can't believe that! Not when I'm saying that! Not when I'm saying that! That better bloody be offside. How have I got caught saying that? Why was I saying that at that moment? Why was I bloody talking about Burnley? It's always bloody Burnley. I can't believe it. What's gone on here? It's a ball forward. It's a flick on. And it's a it's poor. I tell you what, that's giraffe defending. Get your head in the sand, you bloody giraffe. I mean ostrich. I'm even getting that bloody wrong as well. Ostrich defending. Head in the bloody sand. Nobody reacting quick enough. We need to get saved by VAR here. Matic has got 2 players on him. 2 players on him. VAR foul. Bloody give us something. Wood. Ostrich defending, that is. What am I on about? Bloody giraffes. If we were giraffes, we would have bloody stopped it. I can't. That is a sucker punch. That is a sucker punch. They've been rubbish. Burnley are rubbish, and we're 1-0 down. I have to say, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised though. I'm not bloody surprised. You don't take your chances. You don't take your chances, and I feel in this game alone, I feel a little bit sorry for Ollie, because Wan-Bissaka should have 3 assists. Martial should have had at least a goal. Mata should have scored. I mean, Wood, to be fair, did have another. I've got to be honest. Somebody just said it in the live comments as well. Wood's had a chance that he should have scored as well. So, but we shouldn't be losing 1-0. We should be taking the chances that we've created. Bloody not Burnley. Not Burnley. I was just saying as well, just bloody saying. I hate Burnley. I'd love them to see them get relegated. They've overstayed the welcome and they bloody scored. Don't say it when someone's got a bloody free kick. Typical. Bloody typical. Man United, when conceding first, we've played 11, we've lost 7, we've drawn 3 and we've won 1. Well, you know, we can still come back, but the story of that half is you've got to take your chances. We've had chances to be in front. You know, Martial's had 2, Mata's had a good chance. They go and take a half chance. Told you we're going to miss Rashford. Told you we should have bought Bruno Fernandez. We need a goal back before half time. Come out second half and win it. Ooh! Oh! Corner. It's all Katie's fault, says Max Delo. How is this guy still our manager? Glazer's out, says Din Moomingate. I tell you what, also, can I just say this? Why is no one blaming Maguire? I'm sure they will blame Lindelof for this one too, says Fitness and Scripted Giraffe. It was poor defending by Harry Maguire. Poor defending by Harry Maguire. I felt sorry for Matt. I mean, to be honest with you, it was a typical Burnley goal. High ball, win the first one, win the second one. Harry Maguire, again, has lost his man in the box. But if we lose today, Ollie needs to be sacked, says Ryan. That's not going to happen, is it? But what I would say is that we've got to, you know, you can't. Chelsea keep going. Like what Chelsea keep doing to Manchester United is going, you're not getting top 4. Oh, you can have it. We're leaving the door open again. And every time they leave the door open, we don't bloody take it. I mean, we can be 3 points off top 4 if we win tonight. We're 3 points off top 4 and we're playing Chelsea in a few weeks and they've got Leicester, us and Spurs in the league next. We can bloody get top 4. But you can't get top 4 if you can't beat Burnley at home. You don't deserve top 4. We don't deserve top 4 anyway, really. But the fact that everyone else is crap is giving us an opportunity. Stephen Bihari says, face facts, Martial's not good enough to lead the line. Empty seats all around the stadium. Team is abject, poor and manager utterly clueless. Don't jinx the game, says Andreas Hansen. Yeah, to be honest with you, Andreas, if you believe I'm jinxing the game, then, you know, realistically, the lottery numbers on Saturday night are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, grow up. The jinxing games, come on. We're not winning because we're not bloody finishing our chances. We're losing because we're switching off at the back. Head in the sand, ostrich defending, isn't it? Another crap shot from the edge of the box. Pereira this time. Lozano out of favour in Napoli since Ancelotti left. Do you think that could be a good loan buy move? PS, excited to visit Manchester next month from Texas, says Santiago Brentos. You might not be when you get here. Spurs are drawing with Norwich. You see, everybody's crap. Everybody's crap. I've got my stress thing. Stuart Wallace, not Ollie's fault. How often do you think he has our team practicing crosses, corners, free kicks, or even finishing? Performances make me think never. United on the attack here with Martial. Right, Pereira, use this ball better. Another shot, another crap shot, keeper. I don't know where Mata was running to there, though. It's the wrong run. Greenwood is the only player other than Rashford that can finish. We should have been 3 or 4 up before they scored, says George Gill. Well, Martial's normally very good at finishing, isn't he? There are a lot of empty seats at United tonight. And this is why I wasn't confident. This always happens when we're able to close the gap on top 4. Time and time again, they let us down, and I'm sick of it, says the bit W. Still, look, there's plenty of time for us to get back into this game, and we've created chances before, so I think we'll create chances again. I'm just like shocked and disappointed with the goal, because it's a typical Burnley goal. You've got to win those balls. Hi Mark, love the channel, but is Twanseebe still injured? Much better than Jones, says James Guy. I don't even know what's going on with Axel Twanseebe. I mean, there's been very little said about him. Somebody said something ridiculous about, is there something going on? Like, in his personal life or something like that? Or has he failed a test or something like that? And I don't think so. He picked up an injury, but we don't ever get any updates on him at all. Which is a shame, because I think he would be making as bigger impact as someone like Brandon Williams, and he is one for the future. Please subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, we've gone past 637,000 subscribers, which is great, but this isn't great. Paid 80 million for a centre back who doesn't get goal side, says Zach York. You're right. He got out jumped by Van Dijk with zonal defending at the weekend, which I think is down to coaching, but that defensive play isn't good. And here's Burnley with another high ball into the box, and Matic does get up and do his job that time. Russell Williams talking about Pereira. I'll get Lingard on. Yay, got Jesse Lingard, he can come on. Fuck off. People just taking the piss. Corner to Burnley. Good punch away by De Gea. I didn't actually see there how they won the corner, but I didn't also see whether we were zonal defending again. Maybe we weren't. It's going to be half time, and I guarantee there'll be boos at half time. It is half time. It's 1-0 at half-time to Burnley, and they're basically shithousing us a bit here. Pereira equals Lingard with 3 years less on the calendar, says Mr. Glenn Johnson. Magic Eye, this team is literally affecting my mental health. Suck the life out of Bruno transfer. Still have my doubts. Just don't foul Burnley. It's simple, says Image Eye. Stuart Wallace, the amount of times we don't correctly do the basics on the pitch is appalling. Anyways, now get Ollie to show us he's been working on a plan B. Laugh out loud. Look, it's 1-0 at half time. I don't know. I mean, look, how do you feel, United fans? Because I can only be honest to you and say this. There will be Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea fans probably tuning in or taking the piss out of us on social media, as is always the case. But I I've never really been bothered by that. That's not really what bothers me. I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm not bothered about what rival fans do. As much I'll give it to other clubs when they're losing. I don't know whether they care about it when I do it, but I don't really care about what other clubs are saying about us, because I don't need that. I have never needed that, because I can see what is going on, and I don't get wound up by rival fans taking the piss out of us, because we're so far off having to get wound up about that, because I get wound up by the way we perform week in, week out. Yet again, it's just not good enough. And today, I'm going to have to say things that... And people say, oh, you've got an agenda against certain players. Look, Martial's my favourite player, but he's got to score one of those 2 chances. Now, I don't believe that Martial's lazy. I don't agree with how certain pundits always go in on Martial. I think he's a very good player. But in those games, you've got to score those chances. If you want to be a top 4 playing for France player, you've got to score those 2 chances. You've got to score both of them. You've definitely got to score one. You can't miss both. If you're Juan Mata, you can stat pad against Norwich, but when you get a chance like that against Burnley, you've got to put it away. You're on 160 grand a week and you hardly ever play. You've got to put that away. And you can dance around their back 4 doing your little control moves, but you've got to score the chance. And Martial's my favourite player. He's got to score that chance as well. Wan-Bissaka gets criticised for his crossing ability. He could have had 3 assists in that first half. So, look, the Burnley goal we'll talk about in a minute. But for me, come on, the Devils will win. Just believe, says Jamie Inglis. But for me, the problem with that first half is that we should be winning. We should be winning, but it's bad finishing. We haven't created enough chances. To be fair, Burnley have scored 1. They had another good chance. So they've scored 1 out of 2. We've had 3 good chances. So, in fairness, Burnley could have scored, we could have scored 3. We'd still be winning. But we can't not. We've had more good chances than them and we've not scored any. They've had 1 less chance than us and they've scored. Matic is the Fellaini of this season. Please leave. He can't create anything. He's stuck to the centre circle all the time, says Mark Whitten. Stop blaming Ollie. Players have absolutely no quality. Every player is depending on Martial to shoot, says TJ Sherman. Red Baron, I feel good. I'm feeling good. 1 step closer to a revolution against the Joker of a manager in the Glazers. And Manchester G says Ollie needs to get sacked. Why 2 holding midfielders against the lower team doesn't make sense, since every time we get scored on. And don't say there is no plan B when there isn't even a plan A, said the real Jack Nate 2. And Levi Peglow, Phil Jones hasn't actually had a bad game, neither has Matic. Get Pereira off mind. Williams has been world class. Look, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with, oh, he's played well. We're a team. Zayn Miasi, says Martinelli Mark. We're a team, Manchester United, and we are losing 1-0 to Burnley. Burnley are shit. Burnley are absolutely rubbish, right? But they deserve to be winning that game. We should not be playing 2 holding midfielders at home, but we've been doing it all season, and I don't know why we do it, because what happens is Andreas Pereira, at one point, about halfway through that half, he picks the ball up, he drives to the edge of the box. He's only got 1 pass, and that's Martial, and he's got 3 Burnley players behind him. Dan James is on the touchline, Mata's on the touchline, and Fred and Matic are behind him. He's got 1 option to play forward, and there's 5 Burnley players around him. Now, I don't think Pereira's played well, but actually, if you are anything to do with tactics, he's got no options going forward. So, James and Mata should be tucking in, and you need Fred to go beyond the ball, or Matic to go beyond the ball. It's way too static. Matic and Fred play way too deep. You've got to have somebody going beyond the number 10 from the midfield. The number 10 can create, but at the moment, Pereira, and he can't create, the only pass Pereira's got a lot of the times is, and unless we're up with the play, is Martial. Because Mata's too slow, and Dan James is playing too wide, and Fred and Matic won't go beyond him. That is coaching, that is a reluctance for our 2 CDMs to move forward. And, they're getting the ball on the edge of the box when Burnley have got everybody back, and yeah, we might score a good shot from distance, but the only chances we're creating are coming from crosses from Wan-Bissaka, and I'm sure Brandon Williams could do it as well. But they're the chances we've got. They've come from crosses, which are fine, but not every chance can come from a cross. You've got to do things through the middle as well. Why skip directly over my super chat, mate, says Dano Jr. I might have missed it, mate. There's quite a lot of comments. I'm sorry. Right, I've said this before. Not all of them will get read. I tried to read them all, but not all of them will. The board isn't the reason we can beat Burnley at home. Get him out, says Kean Brady. Craig Thomas Miller, beyond embarrassing now, but not sure changes on the way. Money being made, so why change a winning formula in the eyes, not mine. Ryan FTW, 2 holding midfielders against the relegation battling side, gets the job, playing good football in a 4-3-3. Now he plays like Mourinho and LVG. What a joke. Jordan, such London is red. Happy days, says Zayn Miasi. Yeah, but we don't care about Arsenal. He still cannot be our main striker. Well, mate, you better get used to it, because he is. And is that not Ollie's fault? I'm playing devil's advocate here. Stop blaming Ollie, blame Martial. Who's got no other striker other than Martial? Who chose to get rid of Lukaku over Martial? I think that was the right thing to do, but surely the manager has a responsibility in relation to selection of players and recruitment. So Main Street Barbara Durham NH says, tactically what can be done differently in the second half? You know what? I think what we need to do in the second half is pull James and Mata more narrow, get Williams and Wan-Bissaka to keep doing what they're doing, but James and Mata cannot go to the touchline as well. They've got to tuck in, because when Pereira gets it, he's got to be able to play triangles, he's got to be able to play passes. And Fred or Matic has got to push on beyond the number 10. So we've got to take risks. One of the centre defensive midfielders has got to move beyond the ball and attack and get in the box. And Mata and James have got to support Martial and get closer to give options for the number 10. As for the goal and as for the defending, that is crap from Harry Maguire, to be honest. I called it giraffe defending. If it was giraffe defending, we would have won the bloody first ball. The reality is, and I'm looking at it now, the first ball, Matic goes to win. He's got 2 players on him. He's 2v1. Sometimes you're going to lose that header. So I don't blame Matic for that. But the second ball, Harry Maguire's asleep. Chris Wood's got the run on him. Harry Maguire is on his back foot and Wood is on his front foot. And that is poor defending. You've got to anticipate. You're an £80 million English centre-back, Harry Maguire. You've got to anticipate we're going to lose that first ball. And he actually, even when we've lost that first ball, he still stutters. It's not good defending by Harry Maguire. Is this a sackable offence losing at home, says Michael Max. I can't read your second bit, mate, there. To be honest with you, I think in relation to sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if I'm absolutely honest with you, if he wasn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he'd have been sacked already. So it's very hard to say if he loses to Burnley, will he be sacked? Because he should have been sacked already. If he wasn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United legend, he would have been gone. It's the worst start we've ever had in a Premier League season. This is worse than Moyes now. This is worse than Van Gaal ever was. This is worse than Mourinho ever was. So we're going backwards and we're accepting that. But the reason they're keeping him a job is because of who he is. So I don't think losing this game he will be sacked. I don't think there's any intention to sack him. But I don't think we'll necessarily lose this game. I think if we can definitely get it. The real Jake Nick 20 says, what about signing David Wheater? Is he still about? And Martial is my favourite United player, but I feel something is up with him. He's far sharper than this, says Nana Atu. Look, I think the important thing is to always be unbiased in your assessment of a game of football. Martial's my favourite player. He should have scored 2 goals. Matic is one of my least favourite players. I don't think he's been bad today. I think him and Fred are just playing too reserved, and that comes from the coaching, doesn't it? So that's what I'd say about that. Man United have never won any game with Jones in the team this season, says, well, there's a first time for everything. Can't stand Pereira as a player. Everything breaks down with him. Such an amateur. He's threatening as at corners. Martial's clueless in the box too. That's come from Duncan Say. Well, I don't know. I mean, look, we've got to find a way back into this game, haven't we? That's what we've got to do. We've got to find a way back in because I will be stunned if we get top 4 this season, because I don't understand how a team that's played as bad as us all season can actually get top 4. But having said that just, Chelsea have lost 8 games this season, so the reason 4th spot is available is because everybody is having a go, isn't it? So it's everybody's as bad as we are, I suppose. So I don't know. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, you get bit on the arse, don't you? That's what happens. Okay, Jonathan Zabata says, we can pay more than £80 million for an overrated centre-back, but we can't pay $80 million euros for a player we desperately need. What is going on? Woodward out. Smith Jones says, Martial should have scored at least 1, but James is not supporting like Rashford does. If he was playing for City or Liverpool, he would get more goals. Fitness Unscripted Sharath Kamath says, Martial is a Man United player, but not a Man United number 9. He needs to play off the left, and we need a lethal, proven goal scorer. And Stuart Wallace, serious question. Are you worried that since Ollie is mediocre, he accepts mediocrity, so our players become mediocre due to no fear of punishment? Worried about Martial's development under Ollie? Stuart, there's 2 things there from them 2 super chats that I want to pick up on. One, I've been saying this about Ollie for a long time. I'm going to keep it as well. Mediocrity is very important. Ollie's been saying this for months. We'll be good next season. We're going to have more slip-ups. It's about the future. That's not going to get people on their toes and motivated. So yeah, I think it does create mediocrity. The second thing is, Dan James has had another poor game for United. I think his decision making is bad. There's been times where he could have had a shot. There's times he could have played Brandon Williams in on the overlap. We've not done anything down the left-hand side. We have done stuff down the right-hand side because we've actually fed the overlapping right back, and we should have scored 3 goals. How many crosses has Brandon Williams put in? Because he's not been fed the ball by Dan James enough. I think Dan James, again, has had a very poor game. So maybe we need to get Greenwood on, because I'll tell you what, you give Greenwood a chance, he'll score. Why must we play Andreas, bench him and play 2 strikers, says King Hazing. 69% of the ball, 3-11 shots on target, Burnley 1 and 2 on targets from Mr. Glenn Johnson. Well, there's your stats, thanks for that. Kian Burke says, Rio has just said United's problem isn't getting the ball into the areas, it's the finishing. My God. Well, Rio, I another legend of the club I just don't have any time for in relation to what he says, because Rio Ferdinand consistently this season has just backed Ollie and backed the board and backed the club, and I think he wants a job at the club. So I don't listen to what Rio Ferdinand says, because I don't respect what he says about Manchester United at the moment, because I think for some reason he's just very blinkered, and United don't normally create as many chances as we did in the first half there. I do agree with that. I think in the first half we created enough chances to be winning the game. But as Charles Crane say, Rio's kissing up because he wants a job. And potentially that's true. But this season in general, we don't create enough chances. So our problem is creating chances and putting the ball into the box. Today it's not been, but generically I think it definitely is. So second half is about to start. Let's have a quick look at what's going on. If we lose this, will we get Bruno Fernandez? I don't know. I don't know about that one, to be honest with you. I mean, they need to do something, but they might get Bruno Fernandez, because they might have to go and react and get Bruno Fernandez. But the whole point, the whole reason we haven't got Bruno Fernandez is because we tried to play this hardball. We tried to play hardball, didn't we? We're not going to pay this money, but we're desperate. We're absolutely desperate. So we may get Bruno Fernandes tomorrow because we go and pay the money that we should have paid 2 weeks ago, which in itself is stupid. And I'll keep that for the match reaction as well. Bruno, extra 5. Because we should have paid the money. As soon as Burnley scored, I turned over to Leicester City and West Ham. I put money on the over and I just won £. Did you hear? Love United, hate Glazers chant, says Vin Barra. I don't know what the scores are in the other game, because you become fixated with Manchester United, don't you? That's what happens. I know that it was a draw between... they're probably not... Actually, the game's probably not finished, actually, is it? Leicester are winning 3-1. Spurs are winning 2-1. And they're both nearly over. So second half, Mason Greenwood is on for Manchester United. I don't know who he's on for. I can't tell who he's come on for here, Greenwood, because I can. Andres Pereira, yeah, Andres Pereira's gone off, which is no surprise. He wasn't good in that game. So we're basically starting with the team that we should have started with now. Second half, Greenwood's on, and Pereira's off. Mata's gone central. I mean, what I would say is that there'll be a lack of pace now for United in the midfield, because Mata's not as good. I mean, Mata's going to have to come off as well. So Lingard's going to be coming on in about 20 minutes because Mata can't play 90. But at least we've got a front three with a bit of balance now. Here's Dan James. Corner. Not a good final ball by Dan James again there. Not a good final ball by Dan James. But I think Ollie's made the right choice there. Maybe he shouldn't have started Pereira. I thought he was atrocious against Liverpool, and it's continued again, hasn't it? But Pereira off. Maguire on. Greenwood on. And, you know, you do wonder about things like that, don't you? Because why was Pereira playing tonight? He played absolutely dreadful against Liverpool. Why does he play tonight? But look, first things first, let's get an equaliser and then let's push for a winner. I still think we can win this game. I just think we've made it very hard for ourselves. We should have been in front in the first half. Just keep your heads, don't let your heads drop, and get control of the ball and get control of the game again, because what worries me about United sometimes is we can come out one of two ways. We can be worse in the second half, or sometimes we blow teams away in the second half and we play a lot better. But I think Greenwood's given a corner away here, which you don't want to be doing, Mason, against Burnley. Now, zonal defending. It looks like it. It is. It's bloody zonal. We're doing zonal defending again. We're zonal defending again. I can't. When are we going to learn about zonal defending? Don't bloody do it. It's a crap corner, thank God. But it's all. Everyone's stood in their little zones again. How can you concede goals like we've conceded over the last month from zonal defending, and then still keep doing it? It's crazy. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Oh, hope De Gea's all right there. Jay Rodriguez has just slid into him. I think he was sort of pushed into him, to be fair. De Gea's hurt his back. I think he's all right. He's all right. Cross came in. Fred slipped. Oh, bloody hell. He did handball it. It would have been unfair. They won't VAR check that. And the cross came in, and De Gea catches it, and then me just slides into the back of him. Biggie Small says that was a handball by Fred. Well, it was a handball, but it's not going to be a VAR handball, is it? Because it's one of them where his hand's in a natural position. He can't help himself. He slipped. Mata's been fouled there. 4-1 to Leicester against West Ham. No one's catching Leicester, Man City and Liverpool, but that fourth spot, it's totally there, isn't it? It's totally up for grabs. Is Ollie gone if we lose this? Says Rebel Dog 8. No. They ain't going to sack him. You know, mediocrity's fine, isn't it? Had football today at school and we did a set pieces 100%. The coach at our school is better than Ollie, says the real Jake Nick 20. Well, United are on the attack here. I don't think we're going to lose this game anyway. I don't think we'll lose this game. We need to get a quick goal in this second half and then just keep going for the winner. We can do it. We can do it. Put your back into it. God, it's tiring watching United, isn't it? Where's Matic going here? Fred and Matic have got to play like attackers in this game. You can't just keep sitting. Burnley are battling hard here at the moment. Good recovery tackle. Wan-Bissaka again. He's so good. Titanium, isn't he? He's so good. Ewan Vickers says Matic attacking. Good joke. We've got to try and keep the pace up in this game. Burnley will just want it to stop, start, free kicks, lots of throw-ins. You've got to keep the tempo. You've got to move the ball quick. And I agree with Pereira coming off, but I look at that midfield three of Fred, Matic and Mata. It's slow. It is slow. And, I mean, look, games are won and lost in the midfield, and United's midfield has been a problem ever since McTominay and Pogba have been injured. And even then, I still think it needed additions. Elliot Simmons says he can't see United scoring. If we create the chances we did in the first half, we can't miss 3 chances like that again. And if one of them falls to Mason Greenwood, he won't miss. So, but what I would say is this isn't like Everton at home, where a draw or anything like that, or Villa before Christmas, a draw's no good tonight. You can't keep having the door to top 4 keys given to you and not winning game. It's got to be a win tonight. A draw's not good enough. It's got to be a win. I don't care if it's a last minute rocket from Matic like it was against Palace all those years ago. We've got to win. A draw's not good enough tonight. We've got to win. So you've got to get that first goal, get the second goal. We need a first goal quick. And I feel sorry for this guy, Wan-Bissaka. 3 bloody good crosses. Everyone criticises his crossings and he's got no assists and he could have had bloody 3. Anyway, we're on the attack here. Dan James into Brendan Williams. Good ball into James. Good play. Look up, Dan. Look up, Dan. That crosses to nobody. Mata. Keepers. Bloody hell. Mark, the revolution has started, but I hope Bruno doesn't join Spurs. Martinelli has Rashford and Martial in his pocket. I think he's the best 18 years old in Europe. Says Amy Assi. Well, I don't. Burnley are on the attack. Maguire will get rid of this. I mean, that could be a problem with Bruno Fernandez. What if another team just swoops in and gets him? All they want is £50 million. And that's a crap ball by Mata. That should have gone to Dan James. He had the run on him. Should have been into the gap. Dan James. Mata. Those sort of crosses ain't going to work, Wan. You've got to get them on the ground. Tom McCoy says, by the look of Ollie, I'll think he'll resign. Plenty of time left. Plenty of time left. Keep talking to yourself. I'm talking to you lot, but plenty of time left. Take off James, says Celtic Glasgow. We ain't got nothing on the bench, mate. And Mata's going to have to come off at some point. So, you know, it's going to be Lingard for Mata and, Gomez for James? I mean, the bench, you're pissing in the wind with that bench. Gomez could come on and have a worldie, but, you know, do you trust Ollie and think, well, he's not been picking him because he's not been good enough? I don't know. Lingard could come on and score 2 goals, and absolutely stunners, or he could be just what he's been like for a year. The bench is a risk. I'd rather stick with Dan James, to be honest. But Burnley are shit. I mean, they're so bad, Burnley. I can't believe... I can believe it, because it's just sort of reflective of how bad we've been this season. But Burnley, come on. I mean, we beat them at Turf Moor. Martial needs to go left and Rashford goes up top, says Jamie English. Yeah, well, you've just reminded me, Jamie. On the preview last night, I said this. Put Martial on the left, put Dan James on the right and put Greenwood up the front. Because what we miss from Rashford is that person who can pick the ball up on the halfway line, spin and run at somebody. Martial playing up front, I think was I know he wants to play up front. I understand Martial wants to play up front, but we haven't got... you don't get the ball in the number 9 position if people don't give chances to you. And I know that sounds wrong because he's had 2 chances in the first half. But I think we'll get more out of Martial off the left at the moment and put Greenwood up front. That's what I would have done, because we need to get Martial involved in the game. It feels so bad for James. It's almost as if you shouldn't sign and chuck a young kid into the fire immediately, expecting result. What a concept to still was. Well, yeah, I feel sorry for Dan James as well. He's now starting to look like a player that's been overused in his first season in the Premier League. Assie Martinson says, what's happened to Lingard? Why is he so bad now? I don't know. But he is bad, isn't he? I think we can all agree on that. Just confirm Manchester United new chief scout is FIFA 20 career mode. That's why we're interested in Longstaff, so we can use his dynamic potential, says the real Jake Nick 20. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. We've got fan cams coming up tonight after this game. I think at this stage we need to bloody win, because they're going to be ridiculous tonight. It's very... I don't even mean in like tune in someone's going to say Ollie out or something like that. I'm concerned about what the atmosphere is going to be like, because there's been a lot of unfair things said about fan cams recently by people like TalkSport and everything. Oh, for shit's sake! You cannot believe it! You cannot believe what Jay Rodriguez has done. He's just gone and scored an absolute bloody twat. Where's he saved that up from? He's just gone and smashed in a bloody world-class goal into the top corner. Oh, you cannot believe this. You won't believe this. You will not believe this. It's Maguire again. He's not close enough, but the finish is just bloody ridiculous. Of all the times to go and pull out the goal of your career, you do it when we're bloody losing 1-0. Jay Rodriguez into the box, left foot, top corner. De Gea can't get near it. Maguire's probably given him a yard too much. But to be honest with you, you know, I can't say anything other than that goal. It was just the timing of it is just bloody ridiculous. As I said, you know, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, we've been mauled by a shark, not a tiger. It's bloody. It's one of them. I can't even say anything other than we're not good enough. But it's not like I don't think there's a defensive error there. I'm shocked by that one because I think if it was any other game, I'd go what a goal, but. You can't say what a goal because it's against us. But what a bloody time to do it. Just when you're down, you get kicked in the nuts again. We're already dead. Oh, fucking hell. Well, that's... I don't know what to say. I don't actually know what to say because are we going to score 3 goals? A head's going to drop. We're losing 2-0 to Burnley and we've not even had a hard on. We've not even had an hour. We've definitely not had a hard on. We need some bloody Viagra. We're losing 2-0 to Burnley at home. It's got to be the end, hasn't it? It's got to be the end. If we lose this game, it's got to be the end. It's got to be. Even if they announce Bruno in the coming days, it's still a disgrace. This is being allowed to happen, says Jordan Such. Apparently there are players bought under 5 different managers playing today for United. Shows what a shambles the club has been, says Pip Tomlinson. That's very relevant, isn't it? But it is relevant. I didn't mean it irrelevant. But I thought we'd bloody scored then. Trajectory of the ball. I was about to go get in. Just get in. Glazers out, Woodward out, even over this, says O'Shane 1. My concern is that... what's Phil Jones done now? Get up! Oh, don't be injured, Phil Jones. Oh, God, this would just be cake icing. Ollie just sat there after conceding. A passionate manager would be furious at the players. He looks lost and out of his depth. Utter shambles, says Ollie out, Michael Pedley. Is this rock bottom, says Matt B. Well, there's still time. We've still got half an hour to get back into this game. My concern is, can we score 3 goals in half an hour? Because I tell you what, a draw is not good enough tonight. We've got to win. Like, a draw is a shit result. And at the moment, we're losing 2-0. So a draw would be, we'd take a draw. But even a draw is like... How are you drawing against Burnley? Lovely play by Wan-Bissaka. Cross is back to being crap again there. And that's gone for a throw-in. We lost to Burnley, a team that you all say are fantastic, and we've been in the game until the last kick of the ball. For me, that strides forward, says Adrian Gorchit. I mean, that quote, Adrian, from Ollie at the weekend, is going to haunt him. That Liverpool quote will haunt him big time within days. I just think, in relation to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I feel absolutely devastated for him, but I feel more devastated for us because we're fans of this club, and so is he. He's just out of his depth. It's nothing personal. He's still going to be a legend of the club. Like, nobody wants to boo him or anything like that, but he's so out of his depth, and I think that's why his press conferences are crap. That's why we're crap. He's out of his depth. He needs putting out of his misery, doesn't he? He does. But I won't say those words because I just can't bring myself to do it. It makes me feel like a traitor to say Ollie out. And maybe I'm an idiot, but I just can't do it. But he's not going to be good enough. All we're doing is sinking under this coaching. And, Carrick's not good enough either. Let's just take it away from Ollie for a minute. Carrick's not good enough. McKenna's not good enough. Mike Phelan's not good enough. They're not good enough. They're out of their depth. And we can all dream and, maybe we'll get a draw out of this. Maybe we'll pull a bloody miracle off and we'll win this. But long term, we're not progressing, and we're not going to progress. It's always been what I've said. It's a we're giving people the job on work experience. There's no skill set. There's no CV. There's no hope, I suppose. And I mean, that goal from Jay Rodriguez, it's excellent. But actually, you know what? As realism strikes in, why the fuck shouldn't he score a goal like that? It's a game of football. Why shouldn't he? He's a professional footballer. I mean, I can't blame any of the defending. It's a great goal, but sometimes those goals happen. That's why you've got to score more than them. So, you know, what we're going to say what's he going to say at full time? We could have been 3-0 up at half time. Jay Rodriguez scores a worldie, but he's a footballer. He's paid to score goals. Josh Sutton says Jones goes down more than a Bieber groupie. Do you think Bruno would want to come to United after this display, says Wolfie35? Yeah, I do. I mean, look, he's playing for Sporting Lisbon and they ain't doing particularly well, and Manchester United is still a big club. We can still attract the right sort of players. That's not my major concern. My major concern is that, I thought Dan James had scored then. It's wide. Bollocks. My major concern is there's a lack. The club is run terribly. There's not enough money for to improve the squad. And on top of that, the quality of players and coaching isn't good enough. So until we improve those things, that's the problem. Put the sign up outside Old Trafford. Manchester United lowering expectations since 2013, says Manchester United. After the game, interview with Ollie, smiling and saying it was a good game. We really controlled it. Phil Jones was fantastic. We had great passes, says Michael Fetty. And Red Baron, we need to lose this game to start a revolution instead of being lulled into mid-table mediocrity as usual. It's not personal, it's business, football business, Mark. There are teams fighting relegation that have sacked coaches for far less. He has to go, says Ali Gator. I don't know whether he'll go. I don't know whether he will go. You know, part of me was just thinking there silently in my head, surely he will. But like, what would they... You know, could they get Pochettino to come into the job now? He probably doesn't want to come into the job now. Do you know, interim managers? God no. I'd be scared to have an interim manager, because what if you get Phil Neville and he wins 10 games? Phillips at the wheel and we give him the job. You know, I don't even want an interim manager, but maybe you know, if we're losing games like this, you know, you can't just keep a manager because you can't get the manager you want till May. You know, what if Carrick gets it and wins games? Carrick's at the wheel. You know, you just can't... I don't want an interim manager. Ideally, I want Ollie to just keep being inconsistent, get to the summer, go. But at the moment, it's getting worse. It's getting worse now, isn't it? I mean, if you look at our league form, all right, we beat Norwich. They're shite. We've lost to Arsenal this month. We've lost to Liverpool. We're losing to Burnley. Chelsea increase their gap if you lose 5 points to 6 points, says Pricey. Exactly. Mark, where do we go from here? We have Wolves, Chelsea, City and Spurs coming up. The only way I can see is a manager like Poch or we're doomed, says Sagar Kapoor. But the problem is, Sagar, that like if we sacked Ollie, why would you know, Pochettino would be like, if I come in and they continue being crap, it damages my start. Mr. B says, call me negative, but what will ever change? Nothing. The Glazers are slowly choking all the life out of our club. Sad thing is we can't do anything about it. Ciprino says, if Ollie really loved the club, we would leave tonight and let a manager that knows what he is doing take over. Who Me says, sorry Mark, as you say many times, you have to think twice to give certain players bad ratings as a sympathy vote. You talk about not accepting second rate levels, that should include the manager as well. Jordan Such, notice Ollie did not say you will be surprised at the quality of player that wants to come to this club this month, as he has worked out this board as well as the fans. Another cross coming in here. I thought Burnley were going to score again there. I mean, that's the thing. We're thinking we're going to come back. What if Burnley score again? Arsenal performance is bad enough, but this is the nail in the coffin for me. First time I think Ollie out, says James Patrick. And Marino says the last time Burnley won at Old Trafford was in 1962. Well, it's not over yet, but I don't think even a heroic draw is going to be enough for me. It's just not going to be enough. You got to do more than that. They've got a yellow card to Burnley, and it's right on the edge of the box. Now, this is somewhere we can get something going, because Burnley have given a free kick right on the edge of the box here. Good takedown by Greenwood. Now, this is an area I've always said for years, Juan Mata. Pradesh Ramesh says, Ollie or no other manager can do anything with these group of jokers in the pitch. Staying up until 4 a.m. to watch a game like this is just depressing. This has got to be a goal. This has got to be a goal for Manchester United. Juan Mata from here. Little dink over the box. 25 minutes to get an equaliser. 25 minutes to go and get a winner as well. Come on, Juan. You're on 160 grand a week. You hardly ever bloody play. They were checking a VAR red card there. No red card. Bollocks. It wasn't a red card, but it's starting to feel like long goodbye now, says Humi. Such a shame, but I think we all knew deep down that it would end in tears. Well, we need Mata to score this. Round the wall. Mata's got a foot for this. Mata, you know what? If Mata doesn't score this, just retire, because this is what we pay Juan Mata for. This is like a penalty to Mata. It's a little dink over the box. He's got the techers. Dink over the box, 2-1. That's all I'm expecting. Bollocks, Mata! Shut up! Come on! You know, he knows it as well. He bloody knows it. That's top corner. Oh, bollocks. Roof of the net. It's not a goal, is it? These bloody injuries. Pogba, McTominay, now Rashford. When will it stop? Luke Shaw and Jesse Lingard coming on. That's going to cause outrage. Why no Gomez? Brandon Williams is going off. Why? Zayn Miassi, up yours. Why are we taking a left back off? We need 2 goals. And he's taking a bloody left back off. And he keeps Mata on, who we know we can't play. I mean, I don't know. I just don't get that. I don't get that substitution. Like, why are we bringing a left back on? You know, Brandon Williams has been one of our best players. Why take a bloody left back off? If he's tired, he shouldn't have been bloody starting. Why take a left back off? Got Angel Gomez on the bench. I tell you what, Angel Gomez should just leave. Like, just leave or hope that the manager gets sacked, because bringing a left back on when you're 2-0 down. I mean, I like Luke Shaw, but why bring a bloody left back on? Get another attacker on. It better be. Maybe it's going to be a tactical bit of genius by Ollie, but Joshua Santaba says, why do the fans just sit there like deer in the headlights and still cheer when they should be booing this pathetic team? Stop giving them your money. Well, you know, it's a fan decision. It's a fan decision. You know, you can't tell fans to not go or not sing. It's down to them, isn't it? Jordan Such, Zayn Miassi, Manchester is red, London is red, only when Bayern Munich rock up to the Emirates. It's going off in there. 20 minutes to go. United need 2 goals. Why even bother being annoyed anymore? I've given up, says the great ones. Well, I'll never give up. Matthew Bailey says, you will always be a legend of this club, but I hate to say it, it's time Ollie out. With the problems the club had and poor playing squad, we can't also carry a poor manager. I think that's a very sensible and common sense comment, Matthew, to be honest with you. Jordan, such rise of the Arsenal, rise of Skywalker, rise of Arteta, you have Wallace and Gromit at the wheel, says Zayn Miassi. 20 minutes to go, 2-0 down. Like, we better bloody score. Like, you can't have a clean sheet. You can't not score against Burnley. I mean, I predicted we'd win 2-0. I was like, Burnley will never score. We'll find a couple of goals. What's Lingard doing? Shooting from fucking there. Twat. Could be a Sheffield United. Remember, they were 2-0 up. We could do it. We haven't got Rashford, though. We ain't got Rashford. Someone needs to remind Zane that Arsenal have not beaten Chelsea this year. What a joke, says Bryce Jones. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. As I was saying before Burnley's second goal, fan cams are going to be very interesting, aren't they? But also because, unfortunately, the United fan base is not united. There'll be a lot of people really pissed off with the game, and they'll probably start chanting stuff at the fan cam saying you're just as bad, whatever, like that. I think the fan base needs to be united. Like, you might not like fan channels, you might not like fan cams, might not like fans that aren't from Manchester, you might not like people who say Ollie out, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I think everybody needs to be united on the fact that whether you're Ollie in, Ollie out, whether you like players or not, whether you don't like certain fans or not, Manchester United Football Club have never been in the situation that they've been in the Premier League era. They're a joke. They're a disgrace from top to bottom. Like, what did I say about Bruno Fernandez? We could have had Bruno Fernandez in for the Liverpool game. We should have had him in for the Burnley game. We're arguing about £5 million. We could have been 3 points off top 4 tonight with Bruno Fernandez. And if we get top 4, it's £50 million. We're 6 points off top 4. It's probably gone now. And that's £50 million lost. But we're arguing over £5 million for a player that could have got us a win tonight. It's madness. The club is a joke. Absolute joke. And every United fan should be united behind that. Nick P said, I said this a long time ago. Ollie, please go back into my Panini sticker album. Your smile forever frozen in time. Always a legend. Made me cry at 19. United passing the ball around their Burnley box a lot at the moment, but Burnley are just parking the buses. They've got every right to. Martial shoots from distance. It's a corner. Who me? There is such a fine line between heart ruling the head and vice versa, and football more than most things in life. We are all in such a big dilemma with this. Being a legend just makes it heartbreaking. Mata with the cross. We win the header, but that's crap. That header is won on the penalty stop. It bounces before it hits the keeper. And there's no United player in front of it looking for that little knock-on or anything like that. Crap. United have finished, says Corey Lineker, and we're a dead club. Leeds 2.0. Alex Carve says Bruno gets announced tomorrow to cover up the loss. It won't cover up the loss, though, will it? Bruno Fernandez tomorrow is not going to cover this up. We thought that it might happen after the Liverpool game, but Bruno Fernandez doesn't cover this up. Like, it doesn't. I thought they might use it after the Liverpool game, but it doesn't. Signing Bruno Fernandez doesn't cover this up now. Ollie's getting outclassed by Sean Dyche, says Marcus Cashford. 15 to go. Well, the crowd are still there. They're not leaving. I'm sure they're probably chanting. Check out our Instagram story on Instagram, funnily enough. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at that now. Yeah, there you go. This is what you get on Instagram.
For me, I know Phil Jones fit. Just trying to capture the fog and just see it, but it is mad. See, just knows, bro. Absolutely typical of Burnley and 26.
That's our Instagram story. Loads of little clips there. You can follow us on Instagram for that, but there's a load up. Nick Lopez says, what's it going to take for the Glazers to make a statement about the abysmal status of this club? It's obvious the owners aren't fans of the club. They never have been, Nick. They never have been. And that's just the way it is, isn't it? They bought us on debt. They're not fans of the club. They're fans of money. Fucking hell, Phil. Well done. Stopped a corner there. Is Maguire the worst 80 million ever spent in football, says Gary Oakley. This is worse than watching MLS, says Noah Barney. Joshua Sabatula says it's business and all they care about is the money. As long as they keep making lots of money, they couldn't care less about winning. Well, you've got to keep believing as United fans that we can get back into this game, but there's about 15 minutes to go and we're still 2-0 down. What's Ricky going to say after this 90-minute game of Mata and Matic? Just pumpkin spice like... He'll go like this. He'll be like, Mata and Matic, only two players who want ball. Like, that's all they do. You know, I've watched it back 50 times and Matic is making the runs in the box. He's trying to get on the end of it. And Mata, he's bloody superb. He's run past 20 players. Oh, it's not their fault. That's what we'll get from Ricky. I was just thinking, I don't think there's a United player that's going to come out of this game with you know, player ratings are going to be very, very interesting because there's not a United player that's going to come out with a good score. It's a decent cross by Luke Shaw, but it's cleared. There isn't, is there? I mean, there's no United player that's played particularly well. I'd argue that Matic actually has probably been one of the better players, but he's been very static. I'd probably give him an average 6, but yeah, it's been, you know, you lose 2-0 to Burnley at home. I think you've got to take it as a team that's crap. Martial with a shot. Martial, the next Thierry Henry, says Highbury. Mark Whitten, who were the previous owners and what was it like under them? Is that a real question? Transfer market match day squad value 18 players equals 424 million. That value is lower than the 4 Liverpool defenders plus goalkeeper we played. Invest, says Mr. Glenn Johnson. Mark, as a Liverpool fan, I know just how you're feeling right now. We have felt like this for over 2 decades. Love seeing a fellow Brummie talking sense, says JP. Yeah. Well, the fan cams are going to be very interesting, aren't they? Because it's just going to be real. You know, I don't think anybody... If the score stays the same, people aren't going to come on a fan cam and say, well, you know, give it time, it's not his fault. I think this result at the moment, obviously, I think it's just going to highlight everything, isn't it? And I don't want that to happen. I want us to win because we could still get top 4. I mean, it's embarrassing to get back in a top 4 race because Chelsea are shit and then not be good enough to take it ourselves. It's embarrassing. But, I mean, maybe we can get back into it. But this result, if it stays the same, is just going to highlight... Oh, Mata with the cross, Burnley will clear. It's just going to highlight everything that's wrong. The players aren't good enough. We should have recruited in January. We've had chances to do that. The squad's not... The coaching's terrible. There's no plan A. There's no plan B. The investment in the squad, the owners... The whole thing is a joke. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And I don't think... You know, I think there has been bad results this season where people have gone, it's not Ollie's fault, it's the Glazers, it's Woodward. But I think tonight, regardless of the fact that we know the Glazers and the Woodward are rubbish, you shouldn't still be losing to Burnley at home. You know, they haven't got... We've still got way better players than they've got. Like, there is no excuse not to beat Burnley, even if you haven't got Rashford or McTominay or Pogba. Matic is an international. Fred's a Brazilian international. Lingard's played in the bloody World Cup semi-final. Mata is on 160 grand a week. Very good player. You know, Martial, good enough. Danja, you know, they're player for player. Is there a Burnley player that gets in our team? No, not on paper. But yeah, here we are. 10 minutes to go. It's got so bad at the club, it's hard to get enthused anymore. Cheap manager and coaching staff and no money for quality. My heart bleeds, says Steph Chadwick. The thing is, second half, we've not created anything, have we? We've not created any chances second half. It's embarrassing. Like, we've created fuck all second half. And that's the embarrassing thing. You know, at 0-0, we created all the chances. You go from being behind, we've absolutely bottled it. We've created bloody nothing. Where's the urgency? Where's the creativity? I mean, look, I'm not going to say that the players aren't trying, because they will be trying, but, you know, there's just no... It's crap. Absolutely crap. Phil Jones... Crap cross. I mean, to be fair, is Phil Jones ever going to put a good cross in? It's not really his job to do that. At least he's trying. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. We got fan cams coming up after this. Match reaction. We're just getting loads of the ball around the edge of the Burnley box at the moment, and nobody dare shoot now because they know what'll happen if they miss. The crowd will go bloody mad. But actually, we probably should start shooting from distance because we just cannot create anything by trying to break them down. Greenwood shoots wide. See, I agree with him there though. He's had a go. You've got to have a go. It's not too far off. I mean, that reminds me of the one that Dan James had actually. That wasn't too far off, but well, we're not even going to get a draw. I didn't predict this tonight. I didn't. A lot of people did. They were like, well, is Jesse Lingard not quick enough again? A Burnley fucking defender gets to the ball before you, Jesse, and you've only been on 10 minutes? Bloody waste of space. Waste of time. Absolute waste of time. Slower than a dead horse. Fans are starting to leave. I'm sure there's plenty of chanting as well. Depressing. And the club have got a decision to make, but I don't know what that decision will be. I don't know what that decision will be because, as I said, I don't want another interim manager. But I don't think this can continue. I think he's losing the players now. Or maybe he's not losing the players, but they're just not good enough. And I think the players should never be taken notice of anyway. I remember Scott McTominay saying, we don't want Ollie to go. We've spoken to Ed Woodward. Well, that was the rumour. Well, I don't really care what the player says because the player, you just do your bloody job. The manager, what happens with the manager is up to a competent board. Unfortunately, we don't have one of those either. But this to me now is massively concerning as to where Manchester United are going. And we've got 5 minutes left. At best, we might sneak a draw out of this, but we're just clueless around the edge of the box. It's just Burnley have found it so easy. They're like, just shoot then, shoot from distance, and we ain't going to score. All we can do is shoot from 30 yards. It's embarrassing. We've got no creativity to break them down at all. It's a bloody disgrace. Embarrassing. And you know what? Anthony Martial's one of my favourite players. I'm not going to tell you what his score is, but it's not going to be good. Because you've got to be realistic, haven't you? You can't just say, he's my favourite player, so I'm going to give him a fair score. No. I think it's been dreadful from Manchester United tonight. Absolutely bloody dreadful. And they should all be embarrassed because Burnley are crap. Burnley are a team that we've probably just allowed them to stay up, actually. Because I think Burnley were going to get pulled into a relegation scrap. And they've come to Old Trafford and won. I mean, what's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer say? Wow, you know what? This shows we're making strides. We're making strides at Manchester United because Burnley beat Leicester at the weekend. And they beat them 2-1. And Leicester are a team that could win the Champions League next year. So we're making strides because we lost to Burnley as well. And if Leicester can lose to Burnley, we can lose to Burnley. We'll be getting that sort of crap. I'm bloody furious. It might not. I hope it's obvious to people, but I'm bloody furious. And what makes me furious the most is that there's no excuse tonight. There's no lucky goal. We've had plenty of time to get back into it, and we've been unable to do it. So he cannot come out and say... Well, he can come out and say, oh, we had the chances in the first half. We should have took them. Yeah, you did. But it was 1-0 at half-time. It's 2-0 at full-time. Where's the reaction to that? Like, you can't. There's nowhere to hide. Nowhere to hide.
Hey, look at you two lovers. Oh, boring. It's time for some sun, sea, and salsa.
Jacob Dobson, welcome. Latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Calvin Lang, thank you very much. Delicate official, 0-2 Ollie. We lost better today. We lost 2-0 to Liverpool as well. So we had a really good performance today. Justin V, Glazers only care about money. Just look at the NFL team. Always average, sack them. And then Loan Shark Woodward care about money, not winning. John Bailey, at the end of the day, the players are trying but are just not good enough, nor is the coaching staff, and I love Ollie. I want him to do well so much. And Glazers out being sung in the stadium right now, says Sanoj Battler. Well, they won't sing Ollie out, which I actually agree with. They won't sing Ollie out. Luke Shaw. Just shocking, isn't it? Absolutely shite. Well, we're going to lose this, people. I mean, we're going to lose. I had hoped that we might pull something out. I'm not going to. I bet you thought I was going to pull something out then. I bet you're bloody glad I'm not going to pull something out. I wouldn't do that. Don't worry. But we're going to lose. We're going to lose. The time is up. We're going to lose. Devastated. Absolutely fucking devastated. I can't get my head around this result tonight. I can't understand how. I can't understand how you lose to Burnley. I don't know how you do that. With all due respect to Burnley, I think you're shit, and I wish you'd get relegated. I think you're just a boring team. You totally deserve to win this game, but I don't know how Manchester United, the best paid team in the league, the biggest wage bill in the league, how do you lose to Burnley and deserve to lose to Burnley at Old Trafford? Like, I think all this myth that these players are good enough has just sunk tonight. We've created nothing in the second half. Absolutely nothing in the second half. It's just, losing to Liverpool, they're better than us. They're going to win the league, right? That hurts, losing to Liverpool. It really does. Losing to Burnley like this. And Luke Shaw's scored, but it's been cancelled out for a foul. He can't be offside. He's well on. It's going to be for a foul. He won't get that. Silence because they're checking a goal here. No, it's not being given. Old Trafford is virtually empty. This is as low as we've been. This is it's so hard because I've seen great things at United. I've seen titles. I've seen the treble. I've seen 99 in Barcelona. I've seen Moscow. I've seen even the Europa League winning that. This is as low as I've seen. And it's not nice. I don't like it, and it's a long way back. It's a long way back. And the scary thing is we haven't even got the right people in the club to change it around. It's devastating. It really is. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And I know other clubs have had it, but it's just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Because the thing is, I think like, you know, Liverpool say that they had it, but, you know, Liverpool, at least you had decent players like Gerrard and stuff. I mean, we've got no decent players. We've got no... It's gone to bloody Peppa Pig now. It's done it again. This happened last night. Why is my bloody TV changed to Peppa Pig? Peppa Pig! Piss off, Peppa Pig! You bloody piece of shit. Somebody keeps recording Peppa Pig. That's why it does it. So it goes to bloody... Go on Peppa Pig. No one wants to bloody watch Peppa Pig. Although I probably would prefer Peppa Pig to this shit. 2 minutes to go.
30 million in the summer. And they've all worked.
Yeah, what I was saying. I mean, where do you go from here? Where do you go from here as Manchester United? We haven't got good owners. We haven't got good recruitment. We haven't got a good CEO. We haven't got good coaches. We haven't got good players. The reset button needs pressing, and I don't see it being pressed anytime soon. A manager change probably needs to happen, but that won't be enough. The board needs to change. The owners need to change. That's the quickest way for Manchester United to get anywhere near where we need to be is new owners, and owners like Liverpool have got, or owners like Chelsea or Man City have got, who just want their team to be good. That's what we need at Manchester United. And this is like a reserves game. It's virtually empty. Bloody disgrace. Absolute disgrace. And I say that generically tonight. I'm not singling anybody out. It's absolutely everybody. It's a bloody disgrace. Manchester United Football Club, one of the biggest clubs in the world, reduced to this in the modern game as well, when there's so much money in it and we make so much money, and we're reduced to this, losing to Burnley at home. Fucking embarrassment. Disgraceful. The fans don't deserve this. Don't deserve this at all. This is a total and utter indictment on how badly this football club has run. Do not deserve this. This is a great football club with a great history, with a great set of fans, with great traditions, and it is reduced to this. A bloody joke. A circus act. From not buying Bruno Fernandez 2 weeks ago and dragging that out, to losing to bloody Liverpool, to losing to Burnley. But it's been coming. This has been coming. We've been flirting with shitness for a long time. Lingard with a shot. Should be scoring from there. Doesn't. And the referee blows the whistle. Now, as I watch this, there's hardly anybody in Old Trafford. It's virtually empty. It's a big win for Burnley, but it's virtually empty at Old Trafford. Crap. Absolutely crap. Right. Hopefully, I have set it up, I think. Match reaction, link in the video description. I'll be there in 60 seconds. I think it's going to be a very, very memorable show. Memorable show, because I've got lots of things I want to say. I've got a decision to make as well. Am I going to go Ollie out? I've always refused to do it. I'll be live in 60 seconds with player ratings and my decision on Solskjaer and everything at the club. I won't skirt the issue. The link's in the video description. I'll see you in 60 seconds.